for Rocky Mountain Power. Now, in terms of when we could see this stadium built, it's really dependent on when the league awards an expansion franchise or two. Hopefully one of those will be to Salt Lake City. Larry H. Miller Company CEO Steve Starks tells me that's why it's so important to start building around that stadium site now to show the league we're ready for the big leagues.
They don't want to give it to a market that doesn't have financing lined up, doesn't have a site that's ready to go, doesn't have a proven ownership group, doesn't have the right market momentum that we have.
Now, along with the new Rocky Mountain Power headquarters, the company is also planning to clean up a good chunk of the Jordan River, as well as build new housing, retail space, and much more around the site of the future potential stadium. Reporting live on the west side, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Salt Lake City says the west side is still divided by rail lines and I-15, and they're working on a plan to reconnect neighborhoods that have been cut off for decades. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera reports.
The city says tens of thousands of west side residents cross those barriers every day, often getting stopped by trains or forced into long detours just to get to work, school, or the store. A new West-East Connection study is collecting data and community input to figure out where new crossings, safer sidewalks, and better transit could make the biggest difference. The city will start testing possible solutions next year, then decide which projects get built first and how to fund them.
The study says public input will continue throughout the process. KSL's top national stories. It's day 27 of the government shutdown, and lawmakers are no closer to voting on a bill that would keep the government open. More from ABC's Jay O'Brien.
The Senate will return here to Washington tonight. Republicans have tried and failed 12 times to pass a bill to end this shutdown in that chamber. Meantime, the House of Representatives is on recess for the 5th straight week in a row. Speaker Johnson signaling he'll keep that chamber out until the Senate votes to reopen the government.
Democrats say they want to have negotiations on extending health care tax cuts that are set to expire, which would raise premiums for millions of Americans. Republicans are holding firm, saying they won't have any conversations until the government reopens. The United Way of Northern Utah and the United Way of Salt Lake are hoping to raise $1 million to help people affected by the government shutdown here in Utah. The nonprofit says requests for help through the 211 hotline are way up since the beginning of October. They are estimating that Utah has more than 40,000 federal workers who are either on furlough or working without pay. We'll talk live with someone from the United Way coming up at 12:15 on Midday. GoFundMe is making major changes to its so-called nonprofit pages after complaints from the very groups it was trying to help.
When the Friends of the San Bruno Public Library in California started receiving donations through GoFundMe,
we weren't sure what was going on.
The treasurer is Dave Dornlus.
It's something that we did not set up.
On its own, GoFundMe had created the page on behalf of that group, along with 1.4 million others. The Friends of the Library was told it could opt out of that program.
I'm a believer in opt-in, not opt-out.
That's exactly what GoFundMe will now do with its nonprofit pages. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
A British political commentator has been detained by ICE in San Francisco. Sami Hamdi was on a speaking tour in the U.S. He spoke in Sacramento on Saturday before his arrest Sunday at the San Francisco airport. A spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security says Hamdi's visa was revoked and he is in ICE custody while they process his removal. Critics say it smacks of censorship. President Trump is in Japan today before heading to China later this week to work out a trade deal. He's threatened a 100% tariff on Chinese imports starting November 1st unless the deal takes shape.
The president said he thinks they're going to walk away with the deal, but of course they're not showing their cards as to what exactly has led to the Treasury Secretary to say there's a framework agreement. They're letting these talks play out, and that meeting will take place in South Korea on Thursday.
That is ABC's Karen Travers reporting. The U.S. and China have been going back and forth for months over tariffs. KSL Sports. BYU football is now tied for 10th in the latest AP Top 25 rankings. This is the second year in a row that the Cougars have started the season 8-0, and it took a big second-half comeback at Iowa State to get their latest win.
Bear will go quarterback draw. Bears got the 5. Bears got the end zone! Bear Buckmeyer gives BYU the lead.
The call heard here on KSL News Radio. BYU has a bye this week, but next week they'll have arguably their biggest challenge of the season on the road at 13th ranked Texas Tech. ESPN's College Game Day will be in Salt Lake City on Saturday, though, as the Utes host Cincinnati. First look traffic. Good afternoon, Ricky.
Good afternoon, Maria. It looks like the crash that we had at 4th North and I-15 in Bountiful has cleared, but now we have a disabled vehicle in Utah County on the exit ramp southbound I-15 Center Street in Orem. Ricky Mason, the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:06.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it. Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
JTV, Jewelry Television. With 80,000 jewelry looks, we're kind of a big deal. Even bigger with new lines of designer handbags, fragrances, and more. And biggest of all, because you could win a 7-night stay in Bali, spending money and thousands worth of JTV jewelry, making you kind of a big deal. Enter by December 7th at jtv.com/sweepstakes. No purchase necessary. Then watch JTV on TV or shop jtv.com for big holiday deals.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-859-3220. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 to 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-859-3220. That's 800-859-3220 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. 800-859-3220.
Thank you for joining us for Midday, recapping our top local story this half hour. Plans to one day bring a Major League Baseball team to Utah are a step closer today with the groundbreaking of the new Salt Lake City Power District. KSL News Time, 12:08. Hurricane Melissa is now a huge Category 5 storm with winds at 160 miles per hour as it barrels toward Jamaica later tonight. ABC News Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z is tracking the storm.
On top of the wind, the surge, you've got the rain. 15 to 30 plus inches. They're talking locally up to 40 plus. Cuba has a lot of rain coming too.
Cuba is also in the crosshairs. National Hurricane Center says Cuba could get 10 to 15 inches of rain, with some areas getting up to 20. Northern Utah and the Salt Lake Valley are about to get one of the coldest nights yet of the season. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis has more.
Expect a cold night tonight, especially in areas closer to the Jordan River, says National Weather Service meteorologist Sam Weber.
Temperatures, at least in the Salt Lake Valley, widespread freezing or below freezing as we head into early Tuesday morning, with those lowest temperatures likely to be reached just before sunrise.
Weber says now would be the time to take care of any hoses or sprinkler systems before the freeze sets in. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Voters in West Jordan have a big choice ahead of them: what to name their snowplows.
A snowplow by any other name would still plow your street. And in West Jordan, they've launched the Snowplow Showdown, an effort to name the city's fleet of 11 snowplows. City spokeswoman Marie Majors said the names are an extension of the city's snowplow tracking website, where watching the plows online can get pretty boring.
We're like, you know what? These guys need a name. So that's what we did. I talked to all the different divisions and even the plow drivers themselves, and they offered up a few ideas, and this is the list we got.
Through the website, residents can select names from a list of more than 20 provided. The names are mostly pop culture references or celebrity names with a snowplow twist to them, such as Buzz Ice Clear, Plowabunga, or Taylor Drift. To choose a name, you can visit any of the city's social media accounts or on the web at westjordan.utah.gov/newsroom.
That is Mike Martinez reporting. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
We have a disabled vehicle on the exit ramp southbound I-15 Center Street in Orem. It is partially blocking a right lane of travel, but you can get by. You can just stay to the left to get around it and still make that right turn. So it's not causing any delays. It's just a spot where you need to have a little bit of caution. Also, a new accident popping up southbound I-15 at the Highway 89 junction in the North Salt Lake area at the on-ramp, also blocking a right lane of travel. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
This afternoon shapes up to be a cool but dry one. Partly cloudy skies by afternoon, high of 50 degrees, and a little bit breezy out of the northwest. Overnight, mostly clear and 32. 52 tomorrow, sunshine, little hazy. Hazy sunshine, high pressure building, 58 by Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And it's mostly cloudy, 46 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. Coming up on Midday with Maria Shilaos. A local nonprofit says demand for help is way up as the federal government shutdown continues. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. Sponsored by At Your Service Pros. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Now through November 16th, new Comcast Business customers can get started with 150 megabit internet plus security for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and auto pay with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. I know finding a dream engagement ring can be overwhelming, but don't worry, we got you. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond at Shane Company is truly the best of the best. Our team travels the world to see diamonds up close, in person. We handpick each one for its unique fire, brilliance, and scintillation. Diamond buying is an art. Of course, we look at cut, color, clarity, and carat, known as the 4 C's, but that's not all. We also look at how each diamond looks on a hand, where it will be worn, how it makes you feel, and if it's worthy of a Shane Company customer. That type of expertise only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. We also think about your budget. We only pick the best in each grade in all shapes and sizes. Your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
KSL News Time, 12:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
tonight, Salt Lake City will see some of its coldest temperatures yet. I'm KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis.
Second, Hurricane Melissa is expected to pack a punch when it makes landfall tonight on Jamaica. It's a Category 5 storm. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
Salt Lake City PD has been working to wrap up a crash at 2100 South and 13th East. We do have a disabled vehicle blocking a right lane on the exit ramp from southbound I-15 at Center Street in Orem. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Dry skies by afternoon, highs in the low 50s and a little bit breezy. I'm Matt Johnson.
Light rain in downtown Salt Lake City and 46 degrees. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Wayne Cabot. With Melissa, a monstrous hurricane looming, the Navy has moved 1,000 non-essential personnel and their pets from Naval Station Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, in the projected path of this hurricane. Not often we get storms this powerful, and tonight Jamaica is bracing for landfall of what meteorologists expect to be the strongest storm there on record. It has been a Category 5 since this morning, still gaining power, sustained wind of 165 miles an hour. Haiti and the Dominican Republic report several deaths. In the southern Caribbean, 2 U.S. warships are en route towards Venezuela now. One docked this weekend in Trinidad and Tobago. The stated reason is drug interception. ABC's Ann Flaherty says the Venezuelan leader, Nicolas Maduro, considers this a provocation.
People took notice because certainly this is in Maduro's backyard. And what we're hearing is that President Trump says this is all about counter-narcotics. The government in Trinidad and Tobago says that they are, supportive of this. But of course, we know that most of the narcotics in the Caribbean Sea are actually headed toward Europe. The ones it would be in the Pacific and in Mexico that is headed to the United States.
President Trump is half a world away right now in Japan today and later this week in South Korea for his first meeting in 6 years with China's president. Talking trade, ABC's Karen Travers on recent comments the White House has said about a framework deal.
The president said he thinks they're going to walk away with the deal, but of course they're not showing their cards as to what exactly has led to the Treasury Secretary to say there's a framework agreement. They're letting these talks play out, and that meeting will take place in South Korea on Thursday.
Trump had threatened a 100% tariff to get slapped on China's imports as of November 1st. But Wall Street seems encouraged. The S&P and NASDAQ are both rallying. Planned Parenthood, Wisconsin, resuming scheduling abortions after pausing it due to the president's shutdown. This is ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. The Democratic senator is calling into question the legality of the Trump administration sending multiple aircraft carriers to Central and South America. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy joined Utah's Morning News today to explain that move.
Well, argument from Senator Mark Kelly, Democrat of Arizona, is that this is legally questionable. The strikes of these boats that have been targeted by the Pentagon as they've left the shores of Venezuela. All you have to do is look at a map to see the vast distance between Venezuela and the United States, and it makes you wonder how anybody in a speedboat can make the trip. And now the administration's been arguing that these are narco-terrorists and they're carrying drugs, including fentanyl. But the experts say fentanyl is not produced in Venezuela. Perhaps it's a transit point, but the fentanyl that comes into this country largely comes from Mexico, not from Venezuela. Yesterday, Lindsey Graham, the Republican senator from South Carolina, said he supports these strikes, believes the president has the legal authority to conduct them, and he sees this going even further. He sees the movement of the USS Gerald R. Ford, that aircraft carrier from the Mediterranean into the Central and South America region in the Caribbean Sea, as part of a broader effort to strike land targets in Venezuela. And Graham says he would support that too, because he notes the examples of Presidents Reagan and George Herbert Walker Bush in the invasions of Grenada and Panama in the 1980s, suggesting that perhaps that should be the next step for the United States to topple the Maduro regime, which has been leading Venezuela since 2013.
That is ABC's Stephen Portnoy. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky, that light rain causing problems?
Well, not so much on the Valley freeways. If you're traveling the surface streets, though, just be aware you are in wet driving conditions throughout the Wasatch Front. But right now, we do have a couple of problems on the roads. One is going to be a crash. This is in Weber County eastbound, Riverdale Road at about 1500 West in Riverdale. They are blocking the corner and the right lane, so it's a spot not causing big delays, but certainly a little bit of backup in the area. And then we have the accident. This is southbound I-15 at the Highway 89 junction. Some vehicles there are over to the right at the entry ramp. It's blocking a right lane. You can get by on the left and not causing any kind of big backups. But there does seem to be a lot of vehicles involved with this accident. So if you're traveling the main flow of any of the Valley freeways, you're good to go with good speeds. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. 50 today, dry skies in the afternoon, breezy and partly cloudy. 52 tomorrow, sunshine, hazy. High pressure building in Wednesday, hazy sunshine 58. We're up to 60 by Thursday, partly cloudy skies. Mixture of sun and clouds on Friday, 61. You move into the weekend, 64. Partly cloudy on Saturday and Sunday, 66. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Light rain in downtown Salt Lake City and 46 degrees. And the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. A quick check of the markets. A lot of positive numbers. Markets liking the fact that President Trump is going to speak with Chinese leaders today about those trade tariffs. We'll check your money news. Get a complete update coming up next.
When winter's chill settles in across Utah, nothing welcomes you home like the glowing warmth of a fireplace. Croft Fireplace is Utah's trusted experts in gas, electric, and custom luxury fireplaces. Locally owned, locally trusted. Whether you want to convert your old hearth, install a new insert, or create a striking feature wall, the licensed team at Croft handles it from start to finish, bringing years of craftsmanship, quality design, and personalized service to every project. Every fireplace is built to inspire comfort, connection, and calm. A place to gather, relax, and enjoy the warmth of home with family and friends. Visit the Salt Lake or Bountiful showrooms to see your dream fireplace in person. Or let Croft Fireplace come to you. Stay cozy all season. Croft Fireplace, where warmth becomes home. Visit croftfireplace.com to learn more. Croft. Fires. Home.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Does it feel like someone's stabbing a knife into your heel? Or does your lower back give you problems as the day goes on? The Good Feet store wants to help you, like we helped Ann.
Every time I stood up, pain just shot up my legs. Fortunately, I found the Good Feet store. I went to them after my doctor diagnosed me with plantar fasciitis. And now, thanks to the Good Feet store, I'm 100%.
Wouldn't it be nice to get back to doing what you love, like Patrick did?
I was in constant pain. Somehow my fiance and I found our way into the Good Feet store. Put my foot on the arch support system. I put them in my shoes, my back, my knees, my ankles. Thank you. Thank you, everybody at the Good Feet store. You gave me my active life back.
Learn more or schedule an appointment at goodfeet.com and come in and get your free personalized fitting at the Good Feet store. We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
KSL News Time 1224. French officials say they have at least a couple of people in custody accused of a brazen broad daylight jewel heist at the Louvre, but they haven't found France's crown jewels.
2 alleged thieves are in custody on suspicion they were half of the quartet that used power tools and a mechanical ladder to steal more than $100 million worth of France's crown jewels in just 7 minutes. Overnight, police raiding the homes of the suspects, one arrested at Charles de Gaulle Airport while preparing to travel to Algeria, the other in a Paris suburb and believed to be destined for Mali, West Africa. Both men are French nationals who were known to police, and authorities say they've been linked to prior robberies.
That is ABC's Aaron Katursky. Watching Utah's money, almost 360,000 curling irons are being recalled for a potential burn hazard. The barrel of the bio-iconic 1-inch long barrel curling iron by J.D. Brush can snap and detach. 260 injuries have already been reported from the detaching barrel. If you recently purchased a pork jerky at Costco and Sam's Club, you may need to throw it out. More than 2 million pounds of the ready-to-eat Korean barbecue pork jerky has been recalled due to possible contamination of pieces of metal. It was sold under the label of Golden Island Korean Barbecue Recipe. Grabbing up your morning Starbucks order may also involve crossing a picket line. Workers in 60 cities across the U.S. are planning rallies through November 2nd. They are picketing against what they say are unfair labor practices. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 222 points, about 0.5%, sitting at 47,429. S&P 500 up by about 70 points. The NASDAQ up more than 1.5%, up 396 points. For the 11th consecutive year, fans of the unexplained gathered this weekend in Little Rock for the Arkansas Paranormal Expo.
The annual event is held at the MacArthur Military Museum, a building which itself is said to be haunted. Organizer Rhonda Burton says the expo checks all the right boxes.
Bigfoot, UFOs, ghost hunting, or paranormal event.
The event also serves as a fundraiser for the museum. A highlight this year was the Bigfoot calling competition.
Hey, Bigfoot!
But sadly,
he's not answering.
Jim Ryan, ABC News.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
Salt Lake City International Airport keeps growing. On October 28th, 10 new gates and 6 concessions open. Delta adds a second Sky Club, and American Express unveils a Centurion Lounge. Come experience the new SLC.
I'm Dave Cawley, investigative journalist and host of the podcast Cold. Don't miss Cold's new Season 3, where I look into the unsolved disappearance of Cherie Warren, a woman last seen leaving her job at a Salt Lake City office in 1985. Police cast suspicion on Cherie's estranged husband and boyfriend, but never made any arrests or recovered Cherie's remains. Find Cold Season 3, The Search for Cherie, anywhere you get your podcasts.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. And here's Ricky Neese.
A new accident in the Bluffdale area, southbound I-15. This is after 146 South, near the point of the mountain. These vehicles are out of traffic on the shoulder. In Weber County, we have a crash still being cleared and still blocking a right lane of traffic eastbound Riverdale Road at 1500 West. From system install to fast fixes to delivering award-winning heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical, call Whipple Service Champions for the win today. Ricky Neese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Calling for a high of 50 degrees today. By afternoon, I got partly cloudy skies, dry and a little bit breezy. Overnight, cold, dropping off to 32. That's our first forecast. That could call for temperatures hitting the freezing mark. 52 tomorrow afternoon, sunshine and a little bit hazy. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
A bit of rain downtown and 46 degrees.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon. KSL News Time 1230. KSL's top story this half hour. The man accused of shooting and killing political activist Charlie Kirk has another court hearing today to decide what he can wear in court. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson is live with what we can expect. Heather?
Maria, earlier this month, the defense team for Tyler Robinson filed a motion requesting he be allowed to appear in court in his regular clothes rather than a jail uniform and restraints. The state responded by saying Robinson can just appear virtually from the jail for all non-critical hearings. But the defense argues showing potential future jurors images of him in jail and in jail clothing will hurt his case since it's all been highly publicized. There was a closed-door meeting about it on Friday, and now the judge is expected to decide on the matter. Today's hearing gets underway at 1 o'clock, and Robinson will be attending virtually, but he will not be shown on camera. We'll have a full report for you on Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News. Reporting live, Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories. The arrest of a British political commentator has ignited debate over the needs of national security against those of free speech.
On Sunday, British journalist and political commentator Sami Hamdi was detained at San Francisco International Airport. He had been speaking in Sacramento and was heading to another event in Florida. The Department of Homeland Security says he had his visa revoked because Hamdi poses a threat to national security. Rashad Nourzeh is executive director of the Council on American Islamic Relations in Sacramento.
He has been publicly speaking about the genocide in Gaza.
In response, DHS says those who support terrorism will not be allowed to work or visit the U.S. Alex Stone, EBC News.
Ukraine has launched one of the largest drone strikes on Russia to date after Russian strikes killed 4 people in Kyiv. ABC's Ian Pannell has the latest.
The relations right now between Kremlin and the White House are pretty much as bad as they've been since President Trump took over. He believed that he had a good relationship with Vladimir Putin. He hoped that he could end the war rapidly. But I think many people would say, and President Trump has said this himself, that Vladimir Putin has played him. He keeps offering promises but not coming through.
Special envoy for the Kremlin was in Florida this weekend for talks with the White House envoy, Steve Witkoff. Hurricane Melissa is bearing down on Jamaica as a Category 5 storm. It's expected to make landfall on the island overnight.
By tomorrow morning, we'll be talking about landfall, and that's when the worst of the winds will be coming in through the western half of Jamaica. The southern part of Jamaica, that coast, that's where the 9 to 13 feet of storm surge.
That is ABC News Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z. The National Hurricane Center is forecasting Jamaica to get 15 to 30 inches of rain, with some areas seeing up to 40 inches. Scary moments in a New York City park in Queens this weekend, where a retired police officer jumped into the East River to keep a young mother from drowning herself and her 5-month-old baby.
I had to manhandling pull her back, and I had to be careful because I was watching the baby too. Was she going to squeeze too hard and everything? She resisted the whole time, and thankfully, though, it worked out.
Authorities say the mother and baby are both now safe and in the hospital. Utah is seeing a growing trend of teenagers facing murder charges as adults. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
In just the last month, we've seen 4 15 to 17-year-olds arrested and charged as adults with murder, 2 in connection to the shooting death of other minors. KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas says this is not an unusual way to handle the situation, and it's pretty standard under Utah law.
They don't start in the juvenile court. They file directly in the adult court. And that's part of our law that was developed several years ago in response to the gang problem.
But what is unusual is the number of teens being charged at the same time, all in Weber County. These teens could potentially spend the rest of their lives in prison. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
The Better Boundaries ballot initiative that required Utah to revamp its redistricting procedures is losing popularity, but still has more support than any other option.
44% of Utahns say they still support the initiative that created the Independent Commission recommending new congressional maps. A poll from the Deseret News Hinckley Institute of Politics found only 20% oppose Proposition 4, but another 36% aren't sure. The poll concludes the higher percentage of undecided voters is because the public debate has left them uncertain about potential consequences. The survey also discovered 41% of those asked only follow Utah's redistricting judicial rulings a little bit. Heather Kelly, KSL News Radio.
The Wasatch Wanderers Animal Rescue says a domestic duck had to be euthanized this weekend after someone found it near Spring Lake with a blow dart lodged in its head. They are pleading with people who have domestic ducks not to release them into the wild because they are too reliant on people for food and don't have wild instincts. The group is asking anyone who knows what happened to contact Utah County Animal Services. First look traffic and what's happening, Ricky.
They're still working on this crash in Riverdale, eastbound Riverdale Road at 1500 West, blocking a right lane. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:35.
Tonight on The Voice, it's a season of unforgettable performances. And now, get ready for the knockouts.
My heart's racing fast. My blood pressure's up.
The coaches may be friends.
I'll just hang outside and just scream, I love you, Reba! Snoop, I miss you and I love you!
But they're not afraid of some fierce competition.
Oh, this is a good season.
Don't miss the battle rounds on The Voice, tonight on NBC.
Then stay tuned for KSL 5 News at 10. Thursday on KSL, Saltaire, a Utah landmark filled with history and ghosts.
Doors open and close.
I kept hearing footsteps all around.
From the man facing Utah's worst fears for more than a decade.
I want to talk to me.
Yeah.
What do you want to know?
Andrew Adams takes you inside, if you dare.
Did you die here?
Spooky Saltaire, Thursday at 10 on KSL.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, what are you waiting for? Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
Thank you for joining us for Midday, recapping our top story this half hour. We are about a half an hour away for a hearing in the case of the man accused of killing Charlie Kirk to see if he can wear street clothes in court. KSL News Time, 12:36. More restaurants are closing across Utah, and it's not just small local ones.
It hasn't been that long since Buca de Beppo closed nearly 20 locations and Sizzler declared bankruptcy. According to Gastronomic SLC, there have been at least 85 restaurant closures in Utah since the beginning of last year. Just in the last month, they're reporting 11 closures. Some of those restaurants are closing completely, while others are downsizing the number of locations they're operating. Many owners say with continued economic pressure, there are just not as many people dining out, dropping that from their budgets in favor of preparing meals for themselves. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
Salt Lake City and its corporate partners are now officially starting construction on the West Side's mixed-use development area, which they hope will one day house a Major League Baseball team. They are breaking ground today on the corporate campus for Rocky Mountain Power. As part of the so-called Power District, they say this is a huge investment in the city's community on the West Side. Salt Lake City says the city is physically split in half, not just socially, but by rail lines and switchyards and I-15. And they say that divide is shaping everything from health outcomes to daily commutes. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera has more.
Thousands of people living on the Salt Lake's west side cross those rail lines every day. And many say they're constantly stuck waiting or forced to take long detours just to get to work, school, or even the grocery store. Salt Lake City is in the middle of a new West-East Connection study funded by the Federal Reconnecting Communities program to figure out how to bridge that divide.
Every day, tens of thousands of Westside residents cross the divide. Most say they get stopped by trains at least once a week, many every single day. Health outcomes on the Westside are lower than elsewhere in Utah, and people are exposed to worse air quality.
The city says it'll spend the next year testing possible fixes like new crossings, safer sidewalks, and better transit before deciding which projects should be built first. Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together is brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
Starting in Weber County, we do have this accident. Eastbound Riverdale Road at 1500 West has been blocking a right lane of traffic. Not a lot of backups in the area, but definitely a spot where you need to watch and stay cautious getting around it. Then in Salt Lake County, we have a crash in Bluffdale at the point of the mountain. These two vehicles are getting ready to pull away. This is southbound I-15 after 146 South, but prior to Lehigh. So they're out of traffic on the shoulder, again, in the clearing stages. And an accident southbound I-15 on the exit ramp, actually a disabled vehicle on the exit ramp southbound I-15 at Center Street in Orem in the right lane. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
calling for dry skies by this afternoon. Temperatures in the low 50s, partly cloudy and breezy. 32 overnight, mostly clear, cold. 52 tomorrow afternoon, sunshine, a little bit hazy. High pressure will build in Wednesday. 58, hazy sunshine. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
It looks like the rain has stopped in downtown Salt Lake City, 46 degrees. And coming up on Midday, why so many Utahns are reaching out for help from the United Way. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
How does a soccer club, born in an unlikely place,
Utah? You sure you want to do that in Utah?
built with players no one else wanted,
We knew no one believed in us.
reach the league's highest heights?
We finally did it. It was like just this feeling of getting to the top of the mountain.
How does that same team find a way to shatter expectations in the midst of a fight for its own survival?
Our club is burning to the ground as we speak.
I'm Amy Donaldson, and in a new podcast, Making of a Moment, the RSL story, we take a closer look at one of those iconic sports moments.
Soccer is a crazy game, and we saw it firsthand tonight.
And unravel how knowing the truth of these moments can transform what they mean.
I just kind of got chills right now thinking about it.
Making of a Moment, the RSL story, is available now. Follow us at makingamomentpod.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, it's Tori DeVito. In every family, small conversations can make a big impact. I grew up on tour with my parents. Kind of different, but we bonded over music just like other families do over sports, camping, or other interests. And we talked. Little everyday conversations from silly to serious that built a foundation over time. Honest conversations, like when my dad shared his experiences as an alcoholic.
Your honesty about that part of your life gave me a sense of integrity that I wanted to uphold in my own life. And I was so grateful that you and Mom had become these sober, stable people who were always there for me.
I wanted you to know from someone who's been in recovery more than 30 years now that hard work is what creates success, not alcohol or other drugs, whether it's music or anything else. I said it a lot, and I'm glad you took it to heart.
Talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Jeff Kaplan. When you're online, that's sometimes a source of fourth-hand information. Somebody does the reporting. Another website Googles, they find it, they rewrite it, and by the time you read it, you know the old game telephone. But KSL is a source of primary information. We have reporters on the street. They're out in the field finding out the details. And the difference between online and KSL News Radio, night and day.
Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 1245, the things you need to know this hour. First,
a judge will soon decide whether the man accused of killing Charlie Kirk will be allowed to wear his regular clothes in court, or if he'll have to appear in jail clothes and restraints. Tyler Robinson's hearing on that is coming up at 1 o'clock. I'm KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson.
Second, Salt Lake City could see its first hard freeze of the season tonight. Temps are expected to drop into the upper 20s. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
We're in the final cleanup stages of this Riverdale crash. It occurred on the eastbound side of Riverdale Road at 1500 West. The right lane is opening up. Really didn't cause big backups, just a little inconvenience. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Following this morning's rain showers, that will pick up a high of 50 degrees, and then high pressure builds the rest of the week. I'm Matt Johnson.
And we've seen a bit of rain, 46 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Wayne Cabot. We have a new and fairly chilling update on Hurricane Melissa in the Caribbean. Monster Category 5 already. Just keeps on growing. Gusts of 200 miles an hour now, steady wind of 175. Climate scientists say an extremely warm Atlantic Ocean is why so many hurricanes are exploding in size. Melissa went from a tropical storm to a Category 5 practically overnight. It's on a path to pound the south coast of Jamaica tonight, along with Haiti and then out to Cuba. The ocean temp in that area, warmer than most pool water. 86 degrees. Speaking of heat.
Around Southern California, heat advisories are now being posted for midweek when it's expected to be in the 90s or even closing in on 100 degrees in some areas. And with the heat, the first round of Santa Ana winds of the season are expected, bringing major concerns of wildfires later this week.
ABC's Alex Stone in L.A. This is ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. The United Way of Salt Lake in northern Utah is stepping in to help federal workers in Utah affected by the government shutdown. They are working to raise $1 million to support those folks by establishing a United Way 211 Emergency Relief Fund. Joining me live is Patrick McIntyre, the Chief Development and Communications Officer, and thank you so much for being with me.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So, Patrick, are you seeing more Utahns asking for help?
You know, we are. So United Ways in Utah operate 211. 211 is a 3-digit telephone number for health and human service navigation. And typically on any given day, we'll see a little over 500 interactions from Utahns across the state. But since the first day of the shutdown onward, we've seen over 700. So we're looking at a 25% increase in people reaching out for help since the start of the shutdown.
So, Patrick, what kind of services seem to be in the highest demand right now?
Utilities, food, rental assistance, all the things you need to keep a household going that require cash. And so that's why we're calling on Utahns from across the state to help us out, not only by donating food to food banks, but coming to uw.org and contributing today. We're coming up on the end of the month. We're coming up on November 1st. People are going to have to buy food, pay for groceries, pay their rent and their mortgage. And now is the perfect time for folks to step up, join us, and do something to help out our federal contractors, civil servants, military families, as well as the lower income Utahns who are working every day and rely on federal work supports like SNAP or WIC. And are at risk of no longer getting those benefits at the first of the month.
Patrick, what is the best way for people to donate?
Best way is to visit our website. It's really easy to remember. It's uw.org. And when you come to our website, you can choose to support United Way of Salt Lake in the greater Salt Lake region, or link over to United Way of Northern Utah to help out our sister organization based in Ogden.
And for those folks that may be listening and need a little extra help, how would they get that?
The best way is to call 211. Again, it's a 3-digit telephone number. You can also visit 211utah.org any time of day to get that assistance, and we're here to help.
Patrick, appreciate your time. Thanks for being with me.
Thank you for having me.
Live on the KSL Newsline, that is Patrick McIntyre, the Chief Development and Communications Officer for United Way. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Here's Ricky Meese.
We have seen the right lane open once again, and the crash is completely cleared for Weber County drivers eastbound Riverdale Road at 1500 West. A disabled vehicle still sits in that right lane of traffic on the exit ramp from southbound I-15 at Center Street in Orem, but you do have room to get around it. A new crash being called out at Bacchus Highway, Highway 111, and New Bingham Highway in the West Jordan area. We'll keep an eye on that and see how that turns out. But overall, Salt Lake County Freeway is seeing a delay-free drive. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL hourly forecast. Cold front completely cleared out of here by afternoon. 50 degrees, the high, partly cloudy, and a little breezy out of the northwest. 52, sunshine and a little haze on Tuesday. Wednesday, hazy sunshine, 58. Partly cloudy and 60 on Thursday. Friday, 61, mix of sun and clouds. We keep that forecast going with partly cloudy skies on Saturday, 64. How about 66? High pressure in place on Sunday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
It looks like the rain has stopped for now in downtown Salt Lake City. Mostly cloudy, 46 degrees. And the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Quick check of the markets. A lot of really good numbers with the Dow up over 200 points. A complete update of your money news is coming up next.
This Friday from 10 to 1, the movie show comes to Sound Sleep. But first, take time to learn about a better night's rest. Sound Sleep delivers oral appliance therapy that treats sleep apnea without the use of CPAP machines. They're professionally fit, warranted, and covered by most major medical insurance. End the days of a poor night's sleep. With offices from Clearfield to St. George, Sound Sleep will help. Call Sound Sleep at 801-716-8672 today.
If you are facing divorce, call Cordell and Cordell today.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. CordellCordell.com.
The other day, I'm over at a friend's place. He's pumped to watch football, but his setup, total mess. Lagging, buffering, and switching between apps trying to find the game. He claimed he was a big fan, but I felt like I was fan-fished. See, if you call yourself a football fan, you gotta have Xfinity. It's the ultimate sports destination. I can find the best games and my favorite teams all in one place. And the way I watch? Next level. It's the perfect fan flex. I have all the action right in my living room, plus Xfinity's best picture and sound with enhanced 4K. So clear, it feels like I'm in the stadium. Sometimes I've got 4 games going at once because why not? On top of all that, I get real-time notifications and live stats right on my TV. It's the best seat in the house every time. Next game day, make sure that big fan isn't a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multiview requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box.
Email from school about the incident today.
Scary.
Tell me about it. Did you have any idea that was going on?
None. I mean, you saw Derek at the game last night too. Did you have a clue?
No, but you know, teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do. Kids hear first about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
It can be hard to tell sometimes, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, bullying, violence, anything, you need to tell an adult. Mom or me, a teacher, coach, school counselor, someone you know and trust.
Dad, no kid is gonna tell an adult about that kind of stuff.
I get it, but if we don't know, we can't help. Speaking up about a problem, that's what helping a friend is all about.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Need to replace your Social Security card? In most states, you can request one online with a My Social Security account. A My Social Security account gives you secure access to your personal earnings history and benefit status. You can also get a proof of income letter, estimate and apply for benefits, and more. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
KSL News Time, 12:54. The governing body for college football takes a hit in court.
The NCAA owes a former college football player and his wife $18 million for failing to warn the player about the long-term effects of concussions. Robert Gaithers played at South Carolina State University in the 70s. He's 68 now and has trouble dressing himself and making meals. The South Carolina jury found college sports' major governing body negligent in not revealing a risk it's known about since the 1930s. Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
Watching Utah's money, a Swiss drug maker is buying a U.S.-based biotech firm for $12 billion in cash. Novartis announced it's purchasing the company in order to bolster its portfolio of treatments for a rare muscle disorder. People with too much money on their hands are paying upwards of $1,500 to have others create pumpkin displays. Now, the trend comes from social media influencers who have their porches designed with various pumpkins, skeletons, and werewolves. A hospital in Georgia just installed the first ever Chick-fil-A vending machine, and it's open 24/6, meaning it's closed on Sundays. The vending machine is actually a market refrigerator, and just like the brick and mortar stores, it's not open on Sundays. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow up by 240 points. That's about 0.5%, sitting at 47,446. S&P up by 72 points. That is a full percent. And the NASDAQ up 403 points. That's more than 1.5%. Classic cars and bikes were gathered over the weekend to raise money for several charities. Owner of Level Crossing Brewery tells KSL-TV they hope to host events like this twice a year.
It's very meaningful to me. We always like to be part of the community and give back. I mentioned the local charities as well. Just to have great partnerships with local businesses in South Salt Lake.
Sims Motorcycle Monkeys teamed up with the brewery to host engines and ales. Mark Madura says several friends brought their classic cars as part of that show as well. Money raised will go towards the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and Clean Slate Utah.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
KSL offers the best daily newsletter in the state. It's the 3 things you need to know. Every weekday, we deliver quality and relevant content to your inbox. No ads, no spam, just the 3 things you need to know to be informed about the world around you. Subscribe today. Visit KSLNewsRadio.com or text the word INBOX to 57500. That's INBOX to 57500.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
Crews are wrapping up a crash downtown at 8th South and 6th West. We still have the disabled vehicle in that right lane of travel on the exit ramp from southbound I-15 at Center Street in Orem, but you can get around it. A small accident in West Jordan. This is going to be northbound Highway 111 at New Bingham Highway, and you'll see the vehicles out of traffic, no lanes blocked. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
High today of 50 degrees, 40% chance of showers. Not much warmer tomorrow, but the showers do go away tomorrow. Looks like up to 58 for Wednesday, Thursday at 60 degrees. Right now, 46 degrees, mostly cloudy skies downtown.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
A cold, wet day not dampening the spirits of community leaders on the Salt Lake City's west side. This morning, a groundbreaking for the Power District, the hopeful site for a future Major League Baseball team.
If you follow the people that are close to the sport, they're looking at us and our market and this site, and they're saying they check all the boxes.
The time is 1 o'clock on Monday, October 27th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, we'll get a breakdown of the development, how folks living nearby are responding, and what all the construction might mean for the Jordan River. Also this hour,
these types of seasons cause us to slow down more. We're more indoors.
Rainy days and Mondays, are they getting you down? It's staying darker later in the mornings, getting darker earlier in the evening, and overall getting cold. We'll take a deep dive into seasonal depression coming up later in the show. But first, our top stories. In just the last month, nearly a dozen restaurants across Utah have announced they are closing their doors. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff reports.
These closures follow a trend that's been happening over at least the last 2 years. According to Gastronomic Salt Lake City, 85 local restaurants have closed since the beginning of last year. But it's not just local restaurants that are struggling. Sizzler recently announced they're in bankruptcy and have closed their restaurants during the restructuring, and Buca de Beppo announced they've closed nearly 20 locations.
Many owners say eating out is one of the first things people cut from their budgets. Our top national story from ABC News. The buildup of military forces in and around Venezuela continues. The Pentagon says they are targeting drug smugglers. But as ABC's Ann Flaherty reports, they may be targeting the wrong boats.
People took notice because certainly this is in Maduro's backyard. And what we're hearing is that President Trump says this is all about counter-narcotics. The government in Trinidad and Tobago says that they are, supportive of this. But of course, we know that most of the narcotics in the Caribbean Sea are actually headed toward Europe. The ones it would be in the Pacific and in Mexico that is headed to the United States.
President Trump is in Japan today ahead of a high-stakes conversation about trade with China later this week.
Two big potential sticking points leading up to this meeting. One, the issue of China's restrictions on exports of rare earth minerals. This was a big thing that they said was part of the agreement months ago that led to the trade truce right now between the U.S. and China. But the administration has accused China of going back on that agreement, so they're pushing for an easing of those restrictions. And also China purchasing soybeans. They're the biggest purchaser of American soybeans. This is something farmers have been clamoring for because China stopped doing that as part of this trade war right now.
That is ABC's Karen Travers reporting. Markets don't appear to be too nervous about that trade meeting. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by nearly 250 points, up 0.5%, sitting at 47,451. S&P up by 71, and the Nasdaq up by 1.25%, up 397 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Here's Ricky Meese.
It's been pretty quiet on the Valley freeways. We have good speeds there. We do have a disabled vehicle blocking a right lane on the off-ramp from southbound to I-15 at Center Street in Orem, but not really causing any kind of backup, so you can get around it very easily. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Clouds lifting just a bit here in downtown Salt Lake City where the rain has stopped. Still a 40% chance of showers today. but no chance of showers tomorrow, all the way through the next 6 days. Tomorrow, a little bit warmer, and those temperatures climbing all the way up to 65 degrees by Sunday. Right now, 46 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Hi, this is Doug Ryden. For years, I've been telling you about products I truly believe in and that we use in our home. And one is Kinetico. We all know the downsides of hard water, tough on home appliances, frustrating spots on shower doors, but it also affects your personality. When you shower, does the water feel invigorating? Hard water can leave your skin feeling sticky and itchy. A Kinetico soft water system changes everything. It's like having a luxurious spa experience when you shower, making your daily routine something you look forward to. Kinetico, it's a difference you can feel. Their patented system uses far less salt than competitors, and they're exclusively focused on water softeners. They're the experts in their field, and they'll show you the difference for free with no obligation to buy. Call Kinetico Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent dealer, at 801-576-8600, or check them out online at softwaterutah.com. Start enjoying your water. Spoil yourself every day.
When you take your grandkids to Disney, do they know what's in your investment portfolio? Do they even care? They're busy having a great time, and you're busy making memories. At Galileo Wealth Management, we understand the nuts and bolts of retirement planning, our investments, the stock market, taxes, Social Security, Medicare, and more. But think about it. What are you trying to do here? Is your goal to beat the S&P? Or is your goal to make memories with your family? Our goal is to give you the confidence to spend in retirement without the fear of running out of money. Call Todd Kim at Galileo Wealth Management today. 801-516-3227. That's 801-516-3227. Or go online to GalileoWealth.com. Let Todd Kim and Galileo Wealth Management help you make memories, not just money.
Thanks for tuning in to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Happening right now, the man accused of shooting and killing political influencer Charlie Kirk, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, is in court. Let's listen in for a moment to that hearing.
Now seeks to extend those rights to all pretrial proceedings. The court considered each request separately. In relation to request to appear in civilian clothing, Mr. Robinson asks to appear in civilian clothing at all pretrial hearings. He argues that the extensive media coverage of this case creates a real risk of prejudice if the public and potential jurors repeatedly see him in jail attire. The state, the sheriff's department, and the court security director opposed the request, arguing that jail clothing assists with safety and identification. The court has balanced these competing concerns. The case has attracted extraordinary public and media attention. Images of Mr. Robinson in jail clothing are likely to circulate widely and influence prospective jurors. Given the scale of that publicity, the risk of prejudice is significant. However, Mr. Robinson's, let me see here. As previously stated, Mr. Robinson sits before this court presumed innocent, and that presumption remains unless and until each element of every offense charged against him is proved beyond a reasonable doubt. To date, this has not occurred, and the presumption of innocence remains. Balancing these factors, the court finds that Mr. Robinson's right to the presumption of innocence outweighs the minimal inconvenience of permitting civilian attire, and Mr. Robinson shall be dressed as one who is presumed innocent. Accordingly, the defendant's request to appear in civilian clothing for all pretrial proceedings is granted. Defense counsel is directed to coordinate with the jail to ensure that this order is implemented, and the court further orders that if the clothing be provided 72 hours prior to any hearing. To the second request to appear without physical restraints, Mr. Robinson also requests to appear unrestrained during pretrial proceedings. He argues that visible restraints would prejudice potential jurors, undermine his dignity, and interfere with his ability to communicate with counsel. Rule 3-414 sub 9C of the Utah Rules of Judicial Administration requires that all in custody defendants be restrained unless otherwise ordered by the court. The court recognizes that Mr. Robinson has no criminal history and no record of misconduct while in custody. However, the charges he faces are extraordinarily serious, carrying potential penalties of life imprisonment or death. The safety of Mr. Robinson, the attorneys, court staff, and the public must remain the court's highest priority. The emotional nature of these proceedings also raise the risk of disruption. Given these factors, the defendant's request to appear without restraints is denied. The court directs the Sheriff's Department to conduct an individualized assessment and use the least restrictive restraints necessary to maintain safety. If those restraints impede the defendant's ability to communicate with counsel or take notes, counsel may renew the motion. I wish now to also address the decorum and media restrictions. To mitigate any potential prejudice, the court will amend its standing decorum order. The media will be prohibited from photographing or visually recording Mr. Robinson's restraints and from photographing or recording him while entering, exiting, or standing in the courtroom. In making this amendment, the court has considered the factors in Rule 4-401.01 sub 2. This is a high-profile.
And you are listening to a court hearing for 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. He is the man accused of shooting and killing political influencer Charlie Kirk. As we just heard, the judge has ruled on several of the requests. The first request from Robinson's attorneys was that he be allowed to wear civilian clothing in court, and he will be allowed to wear civilian clothing. However, they did deny, the judge did deny the second request, which was that they wanted him to be unrestrained in court, not have things like handcuffs on. And the judge saying he will need to be restrained due to the severity of the charges, but the least restrictive restraints will be used. And then the judge ruling on some media things, saying that photographs of those restraints or Tyler Robinson entering the courtroom will not be allowed by reporters. We will get a full recap of today's hearing in the 2 o'clock hour of Midday with KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson, who is monitoring that court hearing. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
The rain didn't stop a crowd from gathering at the site of the new Power District on Salt Lake City's west side today. A groundbreaking set to help pave the way towards a potential Major League Baseball team. KSL News Radio's Adam Small was there this morning. He joined me to share the latest updates.
Today, the Larry H. Miller Company and state leaders, city council members, so many different stakeholders in this project all gathered together, celebrated the groundbreaking of what is expected to be the new future site of a new Rocky Mountain Power corporate headquarters. This building is going to be 10 stories high, 300,000 square feet, so it's going to have office space, because Rocky Mountain Power has a hand in, obviously, what's going to be known as the Power District here on the west side. So that's what we talked about today. But obviously, this is just the first step in what's expected to be a huge development out here on the west side.
Yeah, remind us of the project as a whole. Where is this, and what's the ultimate goal of the redevelopment?
Well, this all centers around the potential of having Major League Baseball here in Salt Lake City. Now, at the end of the day, that's really going to be dependent on whether or not we get a team is up to the league itself in Major League Baseball. But this development is basically setting us up so we could host it here on the west side. But even if we don't, it's going to really transform this area near the Fair Park, just north of the airport. So right here along North Temple, where I'm sitting in this area, we're expected to eventually see housing space, retail space. I believe there's also plans for a little bit of hotel space as well. We're talking about new retail options. Larry H. Miller Company told me that they plan to clean up a good chunk of the Jordan River to where that could be utilized. All of this to center around this new stadium so we can show the league we have done all of this in this area. We have a site for the stadium. And if we're awarded a team, this whole area is going to look different and is going to really be, centered around that stadium, but it sets us up for success in potentially getting a team.
President of Larry H. Miller Real Estate, Brad Holmes, says their plans will also include a lot of cleanup and improvements in and around the Jordan River.
Tens of millions of dollars put into cleanup, infrastructure, and Rocky Mountain Power building will break ground this year. It'll start going up, and then there's going to be a heavy focus on the river. We're working with national design firms to work on what the river looks like, how we clean it up, how we get it all permitted, so that project can take, probably a couple of years to get that project really clean and completed. And then we'll start to bring other projects. There'll be housing. It's an area that needs housing, especially family housing. So we're planning on multifamily housing to come up as well, and we'll build towards the river and that entertainment district.
Holmes was among many leaders who spoke at the groundbreaking this morning. Steve Starks is the CEO of the Larry H. Miller Company. He says they're doing all of this work so that if Major League Baseball decides to move a team to Salt Lake City, they'll be ready to hop on things quickly.
So over the past couple of years, there's been a lot of remediation work that's taken place. We've knocked down that building that was on the corner of the old Ramada Hotel that was challenging, and we've worked on design for the entire 100-acre site. We've worked on development agreements. All of those things are in place so that if we were to be given the green light by Major League Baseball and awarded a franchise, that we could be shovel ready within literally 3 months.
Salt Lake City Mayor Erin Mendenhall also addressing the crowd. KSL News Radio's Adam Small says she and many others spoke of potential and growth.
Mayor Mendenhall, Salt Lake City Mayor Erin Mendenhall, said something really interesting. She's like, I love groundbreakings, and I'm paraphrasing here, basically because it's celebrating possibility and potential and things like that. I mean, we're all looking at renderings here at the site of what this new Rocky Mountain Power headquarters is going to look like, but we also are looking at renderings of what this area could look like. This is a very busy industrial-looking area right now, but it's the whole idea of transforming it into this place where Larry H. Miller Company says they want everyone to feel welcome and for families to be able to come and visit and also live in that housing space. It's reimagining the west side of Salt Lake City, which has needed, a lot of people feel needed tender love and care for a long time now. And Mayor Mendenhall's, it was all very celebratory comments and looking and envisioning what this area could look like. And obviously, Larry H. Miller Company's excited because they want to bring Major League Baseball here, and this is really the first step in that process. So it's really all excitement and looking forward to what could be.
Have you heard anything from those people who were really affected who live in those West Side communities?
Well, it's been a while since we've talked about this because I actually looked in the last time I covered this story before today. It was about a year and a half ago. I remember we got some initial reaction from West Side communities then, so memory's a little hazy on that end. But one thing I can say is that members of the city council and state lawmakers that represent the West Side, they have gotten behind this. They've given their full support to this project. I think, again, going back to, they see what the potential in this area could look like. I think they and others who live on the West Side have wanted either some redevelopment or new opportunities or just, kind of giving this area a little more care. They've wanted this for a long time. And State Representative Angela Romero and Senate Minority Leader Luz Escamilla, who both represent West Side communities in part of their areas, they've given this a ton of support. And we've really seen this collaboration between, Republican and Democratic state lawmakers, as well as, other businesses in this area. It'll be a big change for the area and the people that live here. I think from both sides of the aisle, at least on the political side, it's gotten a ton of support, including from those who represent this area.
You mentioned this is the first phase. What's next?
Well, again, all starting with this new Rocky Mountain Power headquarters. From there, the Larry H. Miller Company told me that we should start to see some new housing start to come up at some point next year. Then from there, they're also going to focus on that cleanup and restoration effort on the Jordan River. So they're starting to work with that. And then I think from there, they're just going to kind of continue to build around this area. But really, it all comes down to whether or not we get that MLB team. And if we do, the company is saying they want to be able to be shovel ready within a matter of months if that announcement were to come. But in the meantime, start with the headquarters, then start building multifamily housing, and then big focus on cleaning up the Jordan River as well. So things are in motion. This is going to be a years-long effort to do everything they want to do out here. And if that stadium comes, potentially could be longer, but really it's going to take a while, but hopefully things turn out in our favor for those who are anxious for Major League Baseball.
And that is KSL News Radio's Adam Small. You can find more information on the plans by visiting our website, kslnewsradio.com. The president is on a trade mission throughout Asia this week. We'll get a preview of a high-stakes meeting with China that's coming up after the break. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
A small accident in the West Jordan area. Highway 111 at New Bingham Highway. Now, the vehicles are out of traffic on the shoulder, but there does seem to be a lot of wind in the area. And then we also have the disabled vehicle blocking a right lane southbound I-15 on the exit ramp at Center Street in Orem. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
Attention Jazz Nation. We know you've been waiting on the edge of your seat, and the time has finally arrived. All tickets are available now. Let's go! Your favorite players will be back on the court, bringing the energy all season long. Whether you're looking for season tickets, mini plans, or single game matchups, there's a perfect option for every kind of fan. Show up loud and proud at Delta Center this season. Don't miss your chance to be part of the action. Buy your tickets today at utahjazz.com.
Get set for fall entertaining with incredible deals at Scandinavian Designs.
The Fall Entertaining Sale features huge savings on select furniture and decor for every space, from dining and living rooms to guest spaces ready for overnight stays. Refresh your home today and make it holiday ready just in time for the gathering season ahead. But only for a limited time. Scandinavian Designs. We make it simple, you make it home. Stop by your local showroom today or shop online at ScandinavianDesigns.com.
Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed. Learn how at www.ready.gov. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Ad Council.
China now confirms there is a framework consensus on trade ahead of President Trump's meeting Thursday with China's President Xi. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers has more.
There is public optimism now from both the U.S. and China that an agreement can be reached on trade when President Trump meets with President Xi in South Korea Thursday, a high-stakes sit-down coming after months of trade tensions. President Trump telling reporters on Air Force One,
"We're going to have a successful transaction for both countries."
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said he believes China will delay by a year the export controls it's threatening on the critical rare earth minerals. Bessent also alluded to a potential deal on China restarting purchases of American soybeans. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
The trade deal meeting with China, just one of many meetings and deals the president is expected to make during his trip in Asia this week. ABC's Selena Wang is in Malaysia and continues our coverage with more on what else President Trump is doing during his flurry of meetings.
All eyes are on Thursday. That is when President Trump is going to be in South Korea, expected to sit down with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. That's going to be their first face-to-face meeting in about 6 years, and the first, of course, in Trump's second term. But let me walk you through Malaysia, because the president had a flurry of meetings with world leaders. He signed a lot of deals. He oversaw the signing of a ceasefire agreement between Cambodia and Thailand after deadly border clashes in July.
Millions of people are alive today because of this peace treaty.
Now, that deal builds off of a truce from several months ago and will involve freeing 18 Cambodian prisoners. The president also signed trade deals with Cambodia, Malaysia, and a framework deal with Thailand, setting rates for those three countries at 19%.
When we make deals, we see two countries that we do a lot of business with. We do a lot of business with both of them. We have to use that business to make sure they don't get into wars.
And one other meeting, Brad, that I want to call out, which is one with Brazil's president. Remember, tensions are very high between these two leaders after Trump imposed those massive 50% tariffs on the country, citing its criminal charges against former president and Trump ally Bolsonaro.
As we look forward to how this week goes, what kinds of things should we be expecting to see in presidents' meetings, especially the one with China? Selena Wang again with more on the Start Here podcast with Brad Milkey.
First of all, U.S. and Chinese officials, they were negotiating all throughout the weekend here in Malaysia, trying to hash out all the details, really paving the way for this big sit down to make sure it's as productive as possible. Now, Treasury Secretary Bessent, he said that these talks were productive, were constructive, and he announced some pretty substantial talks. He told This Week on Sunday that they've reached a framework for the two leaders.
We covered a wide range of issues, and I think we've reached a substantial framework for the two leaders who will meet in Korea next Thursday.
We've obviously heard this word framework before, but Scott Bessent is essentially saying that they have reached an agreement on everything from trade, the fentanyl crisis, soybean purchases, but it's up to the two leaders to finalize the deal. So it does look like the negotiators made some pretty decent headway.
Yeah, how big are the stakes when it comes to China specifically? Because it does seem like doing a ton of different conversations with a ton of different leaders. In fact, leaders from Europe and Western Hemisphere are also in Asia. They're all going to be talking to each other. But it sounds like American officials do think of China as a singular importance when it comes to our economy.
It is absolutely critical. The stakes are enormous. We're talking about two world superpowers where tensions are running high. They had imposed sky-high tariffs on each other as tensions were ratcheting up after President Trump got into office. But you'll remember that they agreed to pause those tariffs for a 90-day period. That expiration is in early November. So if they don't agree to extend that truce to come up with a deal, that could cause a lot more pain for American and global businesses and consumers. And I talked about soybeans because American farmers have been feeling a lot of pain. because of this trade war. China has been buying from Argentina. They haven't been buying from American farmers, which is really putting a lot of strain on them. But Secretary Bessent signaling that they're coming up with some solution to help farmers.
Our soybean farmers will feel very good about what's going on both for this season and the coming seasons for several years.
And then on the fentanyl crisis, there have been longstanding concerns about these precursor chemicals being made in China and crossing through the border into the United States.
We're going to be talking about fentanyl, of course. Fentanyl is killing a lot of people.
And TikTok as well. The TikTok deal has been announced by the U.S., but not signed and inked and set in stone by both sides. We haven't really heard much from the Chinese side on it. So still some questions there around the fate of TikTok.
All of this comes after the president canceled trade talks with Canada over an Ontario ad using former President Ronald Reagan's own words against tariffs. The president accused Canadian officials of trying to influence the U.S. Supreme Court as they work to decide whether or not the president's tariffs are legal. Canada's prime minister will be attending many of the same meetings this week, but it doesn't appear that President Trump will meet with him directly, and we will continue to follow all of those meetings for you here on KSL News Radio. It's 1:30, midday at KSL News Radio. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. As the days get darker, you might find yourself struggling more with your mental health. We are taking a deep dive into seasonal depression, and we want to hear from you as well. 50 Utah teenagers getting a unique hands-on experience in the medical field. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
Crews are working to clear this disabled vehicle in Orem on the exit ramp from southbound I-15 at Center Street. Maria?
We are starting the week off pretty cool with showers, but those showers tapering off later today, and then no showers for the next 6 days, and the temperature climbing up to 65 degrees by next Sunday. It's 1:30.
ABC News, I'm Wayne Cabot. This afternoon brings word that Melissa, that monster storm in the Caribbean, keeps on getting stronger. The latest readings have Hurricane Melissa packing gusts of 200 miles an hour, blowing steady winds of 175. ABC News meteorologist Melissa Griffin is worried about that wind, plus the storm surge, and especially the rain.
We're looking at 20 to 30 inches for parts of Jamaica. This will bring life-threatening flash flooding, catastrophic mud and landslides across the region, especially in those higher elevations, which could reach up to 40 inches locally in those highest amounts. Even Cuba could see up to 20 inches of rain.
House Speaker Mike Johnson says contingency funds are not legally available to continue expiring SNAP food benefits. 42 million Americans will lose them on Saturday. Lawmakers are no closer to voting to reopen the government. But with President Trump talking trade with Japan today and China later in the week, Wall Street's in rally mode. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. We are seeing a trend, more teenagers being charged as adults for murder. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas says this is a normal practice.
We try to look at those on a case-by-case basis, but when it's a homicide, a murder, and the offender is 16 or 17, you can be almost assured that those will begin right out of the chute in adult court.
What's not normal about it is the number out of Weber County. 4 teenagers aged 15 to 17 are facing adult murder charges at this time.
2 of those have been in connection to the shooting death of other minors. The man accused of killing political activist Charlie Kirk will be allowed to wear street clothes in future hearings, but the judge ruled today he will still need to be restrained. Tyler Robinson's attorneys argued that showing him in a jail uniform or handcuffs could influence how the jury sees him. Utah leaders and local businesses broke ground today on the first of many projects meant to prepare Salt Lake City for Major League Baseball. The Larry H. Miller Company is building a new headquarters for Rocky Mountain Power near the Utah State Fair Park and plans to build housing, shopping, and other things in order to show the MLB we are ready for a team of our own.
They don't want to give it to a market that doesn't have financing lined up, doesn't have a site that's ready to go, doesn't have a proven ownership group, doesn't have the right market momentum that we have.
Larry H. Miller Company CEO Steve Starks says that they hope to start building new multifamily housing sometime next year. It's almost November, and the polls are open in West Jordan, not just to elect 3 council members, but also to vote for the names that will go onto the city's fleet of snowplows.
West Jordan has launched the Snowplow Showdown, an effort to name the city's 11 snowplows. Residents can choose from a list of more than 20 names provided, which are a mix of pop culture references and celebrity names with a snowplow twist to them, such as Mr. Plow, Snowverine, and Control Salt Delete. City spokeswoman Marie Majors says the names are an extension of the city's snowplow tracking website.
So it kind of adds just like a human element, like, oh, Buzz Ice Clear was just on my street, and like, thank goodness for Buzz Ice Clear.
To choose a name, you can visit any of the city's social media accounts or on the web at westjordan.utah.gov/newsroom. For KSL News Radio, I'm Mike Martinez.
Watching Utah's money at this hour, the Dow up nearly 300 points, sitting at 47,492. S&P up by 74 points, and the NASDAQ up by 397 points. Traffic and weather brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
Well, Maria, I do not believe this is a drill. So road restrictions are now in place for parts of Parley's Canyon. Approved traction devices required for all semis only, traveling eastbound I-80 right through the canyon. It starts at the mouth of Parley's. And we also still have the final cleanup of this disabled vehicle in Orem. The tow truck is there getting ready to pull away. A right lane blocked on the exit ramp from southbound I-15 at Center Street, Orem. Advanced Window Products, factory direct, affordable windows. Call today. They're on their way. Financing available. Save now, pay later. AdvancedWindows.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Okay, wait, Ricky.
I know.
Does that mean there's snow on the road at Parley's?
I'm not seeing snow, but I am seeing a wet road surface, and a lot of drivers do not believe me, but a wet road surface is sometimes all it takes for to cause a little bit of traction issues on the road. But right now, I'm not seeing snowfall, but with the restrictions in place, maybe we can keep an eye out for that.
Just checking. All right. Thanks, Ricky. And the forecast does call for still a 40% chance of showers today. That chance disappearing by tomorrow. Tomorrow's high still 52, but then up to 65 degrees by the time we get to the weekend. 46 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Do you have an IRA or 401k? It's natural to think of this as being your money, right? But remember, you still have to pay taxes when you withdraw this money in retirement. And you could be paying a lot more in taxes on these accounts than you know. A lot more. Learn the strategies that can help you reduce or eliminate your taxes in retirement. Don't miss a special edition of Retirement Solutions Radio this Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, right here on KSL News Radio 1027.
Tonight on The Voice, it's a season of unforgettable performances. And now, get ready for the knockouts.
My heart's racing fast. My blood pressure's up.
The coaches may be friends.
I'll just hang outside and just scream, I love you, Reba! Snoop, I miss you and I love you!
But they're not afraid of some fierce competition.
Oh, this is a good season.
Don't miss the battle rounds on The Voice, tonight on NBC.
Then stay tuned for KSL 5 News at 10. Thursday on KSL, Saltaire, a Utah landmark filled with history and ghosts.
Doors open and close.
I kept hearing footsteps all around.
From the man facing Utah's worst fears for more than a decade.
Wants to talk to me.
Yeah.
What do you want to know?
Andrew Adams takes you inside, if you dare.
Did you die here?
Spooky Saltaire, Thursday at 10 on KSL.
At Social Security, we are always thinking of ways to save you time and make things easier. That's why we created My Social Security. A My Social Security account allows you to access your earnings history and benefits information, request a replacement Social Security card, get a proof of income letter, estimate and apply for benefits, and more. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Okay, one thing that's been bothering me lately, and it does it every year, I know, it's dark. It's so dark in the morning when I wake up. Now, as we move into winter, we all know it's inevitable. The days get shorter, the nights get longer. Joining me today on Health Matters to talk about it is the clinical director of Two Brothers Counseling in Ogden.
So a myriad of things happen this time of year, but I think oftentimes for some people it's unwanted self-reflection. These holiday seasons tend to bring up a lot of memories for people. Some of the memories are fond memories, and some of them are painful memories, like unwanted memories, due to, adverse childhood experiences, due to unresolved pain points that still need to be healed, but the person's not being intentional about taking that time to address those wounds. And then, of course, there's, they talk about the combination between nature versus nurture. So there is also a biological component to this time of season where at the end of the day, we're getting less sunlight. We're getting less of that good nutrients that come from the sun. So there's always some intentional modifications that need to be made as well when it just comes to our composition as human beings.
So why is it some of us are more affected than others?
Again, I just kind of go towards that balance between nature versus nurture. Some people have the genetic makeup where they can be in this type of season and it has minimal to no effect. And then there's some of us where we don't have the genetic makeup for us to be in a season where there's minimal sunlight, where, you're sequestered to being indoors more than outdoors, and, some of those things that can kind of help us to sustain balance as human beings. And then, again, I go back to kind of like that nurture piece is what has been your lived experiences. And again, these types of seasons cause us to slow down more. We're more indoors, like, again, for those of us who like to keep ourselves busy so we don't have to face the things that are in the dark reaches of our minds, this season kind of puts us in a more slower pace. So I think it's a combination of things that cause some people to be more, I would say, adaptive during this season than others.
So what are some things that we can do during this season to boost our mental health, to make us feel better?
I think sometimes we kind of overlook some of the awesome resources that are readily available to us. One of them that I would recommend is a solid vitamin D supplement. I think people kind of lose sight as over-the-counter, maybe $5 to $7 supplement can make a world of difference because, again, we're getting less sunlight. We are, there's a saying we are children of the sun, we get our energy from there. So, having a solid vitamin D supplement could be the panacea that we're looking for. And then on top of it, I think intentional and curated moments of connection with other human beings. Because again, these seasons cause us to be less outdoors, less. So it's important for us to find ways to, still hang out and spend quality time with human beings that we care about. And then also, as a mental health professional, I'm just going to say this. I think it's time for us to allow ourselves to work through whatever we've been putting off. I think summer seasons, spring seasons, and even early fall seasons, we find ways to just keep ourselves busy. And just because we're keeping ourselves busy doesn't mean we're okay. So I think it's time for us to be able to say, hey, let me take some time and tend to myself. Let me give myself a little TLC, a little tender love and care during this season. And then, like I said, taking advantage of your abundance of resources. If you're working with a primary care provider, combine that with a mental health professional. Combine that with a nutritionist, combine that with a dietitianist. We have a plethora of resources that can help us to find balance during these winter seasons so we're not spiraling into seasonal depression or, seasonal affective disorder. And then if we're having a tinge of those symptoms, it doesn't have to be cascading into this exacerbated experience. It can be a tinge because we're taking the steps to really mitigate and alleviate those symptoms so they don't hinder us from enjoying what the winter season has to offer. There's so much for this winter season to offer us, but if we're not tending to ourselves, and there's an awesome method that I encourage people to use to check in. It's called the HALT method. And, that's the European word for stop. And each letter means a self-inventory practice. The first is the H, which is hungry. The A is angry. The L is lonely. And then the T is tired. It's awesome for us to do self-inventory, check in, and to meet our needs.
Okay, any final thoughts for us?
I just say be kind to ourselves during this season. I mean, at the end of the day, again, we all have our own history. Some of us, we've gone through a lot of different, adversities, different challenges. It hasn't been an easy year. For others, this has been a victory lap. So for those of us who have had, some challenges, give ourselves some TLC. Like, let's take care of ourselves. Let's be kind to ourselves, and let's be in community, and let's do our best to kind of uplift our spirits during this time.
Gregory Noel is a licensed marriage and family therapist at Two Brothers Counseling in Ogden. And I will say that the dark mornings have been bugging me so much that I tried out a new alarm clock this morning that mimics the sunrise. It goes off at 6 a.m., but I don't think I have it programmed quite right. I'm going to need some work on that. So let's just say I'm a work in progress. How about you? Are you liking the cooler weather, or do you struggle with this darker time of year? Let me know your thoughts and if you found anything that helps you through the winter months. You can text me at 57500, and we'll try to read off some of your texts later in the show. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
How do you stay humble when you're America's #1 wiper blade? That's what we're currently dealing with at Rain-X. Is it even possible to humble brag when you bully Mother Nature like we do? Do we sound too conceited if we keep repeating how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America? No, we'll take a lesson from our wipers and just keep doing our job with humility. As America's #1 wiper blade. Rain-X. Outsmart the elements.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything! The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu!
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
If you haven't pulled out your tomatoes, put away your pots with tender annuals, or shut off your sprinklers, this may be the time to do so. National Weather Service meteorologist Sam Weber tells KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis that today's storm system is bringing with it freezing temperatures in some areas.
Yeah, definitely. So as you're aware, if you kind of look out the window, you can be a little bit aware that, we have a storm system going through the region right now, especially across northern Utah. And so through the rest of today, we're essentially going to get another shot of cold air that's going to push down into northern Utah through the afternoon and evening hours. And so this is slated to be some of the coldest air that we've seen across northern Utah for the season thus far. And so if you remember back to early last week, we had some localized freezing conditions across northern Utah and the Wasatch Front. But as we go through tonight, again, seeing some of the coldest air that we've seen for the season thus far, we should see temperatures, at least in the Salt Lake Valley, widespread freezing or below freezing as we head into early Tuesday morning, with those lowest temperatures likely to be reached just before sunrise. So right now, forecast across the Salt Lake Valley is looking like anywhere from about 28 to 32 degrees. So solidly below freezing for some areas, especially across the southern half of the valley and those areas that are kind of closer to the Jordan River, kind of the lowest elevation points in the valley as a whole. We'll see some of those coldest temperatures. So pretty cold air tonight again. So if you have any plants or garden things that are sensitive to the cold, you want to make sure you get those protected. If you have any ongoing watering efforts going on in your yard. So if you have any sprinkler systems or any exterior hoses and water systems that are still running, it might be a good idea to get those prepped and ready for freezing or even sub-freezing temperatures that we're expected to see tonight.
The coldest spots are expected to be in and around the Jordan River. As we move into the colder season and you need to start preparing your gardens and your lawns, make sure you join us on the KSL Greenhouse Show for expert advice, tips, and tricks. It's every Saturday morning from 8 to 11 right here on KSL News Radio. 50 Utah teens getting a unique chance to rub shoulders with actual doctors, getting legit hands-on medical training. More on that story coming up after the break. But first is KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape, Ricky.
Maria, we've had a little bit of busy traffic dipping below the freeway limit northbound I-15 between 33rd and 2100 South. I don't have an issue reported there yet, and traffic cameras not showing anything except traffic being a little busy and slow. We do have a new accident. It is eastbound I-80 prior to Bangerter Highway, but already out of traffic on the shoulder. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Now through November 16th, new Comcast Business customers can get started with 150 megabit internet plus security for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and auto pay with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness.
And Utah isn't immune, with nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or another form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe.
That's why KSL has teamed with the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation to bring you hope and help you thrive.
It's Healthy Mind Matters.
Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
This week's movie show brought to you by Sound Sleep. Get a free sleep screening and a free sleep consultation by tuning in on Friday morning. Sound Sleep with 7 locations in Utah.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
Thank you for joining me for Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Okay, I asked you to chime in on the cold and the dark and what you do. One of our listeners chimed in that he used to hate winters in Utah, but then he discovered the Wim Hof method. I looked it up. It's a guy who jumps into barrels of cold water. And this person says they don't necessarily do the ice baths all the time, but they do go out. He does go outside on his deck in his gym shorts and usually remains out there for 10 to 20 minutes. Oh, my goodness. He says it's going into the cold that he can control, and he actually now looks forward to the cold. And also showers, after his shower is completed. Um, anyway, that's how he gets acclimated to the cold. It's kind of a long text message, and I appreciate you texting in. The other thing that I do because of the dark is I just put lights up everywhere. You can ask my neighbors. There are lights all over the outside of my house. Thanks for chiming in. High school students who have shown an interest in medicine got a unique opportunity at Intermountain Altaview Hospital over the weekend. The Black Physicians of Utah Medicine Immersion event allowed some 50 students to do inpatient rotations with the doctors. President of the Black Physicians of Utah, Dr. Richard Ferguson, says he launched the event 4 years ago after a diversity, equity, and inclusion event at the hospital.
And I spoke to the CEO, Scott Roberson, about the benefits of having a diverse representation in healthcare, and particularly how that is a big way to bring about health equity, particularly for the state of Utah. Often when people are receiving care from those that look like them, they're more likely to feel less likely to feel as though their concerns will be dismissed, compliance improves, but also we want to show a path for many Black and brown or underrepresented students in that they can have a path to become physicians in medicine. You know, for many students, since I've been in Utah since 2010, but definitely since starting Black Physicians of Utah, I'm often the only Black doctor or the first that they've ever met. And it's 2021 at that time, and now it's 2025. I'm still often the first. So we had about 40 to 50 students that were all around the valley, even from Utah County. So we had some UVU, USU students, University of Utah, but more, I would say, sophomore to seniors in high school. And it's a day where they get to go around and do inpatient rotation. So they get to visit the ER, labor and delivery, anesthesia in an OR case, and they break up into small pairs for about an hour or so, led by a Black physician or an allied physician that supports our cause, and actually walk them through their day. And then after that, they get to rotate through various hands-on simulations by other medical specialties. We actually had a woman that was in her third trimester that we were able to perform OB ultrasound on. Students or aspiring students that want to become physicians were able to learn about burn treatment. They were able to practice suturing with pediatric and family medicine docs. They also got an experience to work alongside plastic and orthopedic physicians that were also demonstrating their skill set and how they are able to help people heal and even place reconstruction of their facial tissue. And then we had a whole large room where we had an emergency room doctor, Dr. Suarez, who took everyone through how to perform CPR, which is something that's good to know as we go into the holidays. Also, how to place IVs. So we did all of this combined with panels from Black physicians, Black residents, and also those of Latinx descent. And we closed out the day with mentor-mentee lunch. And then more importantly, what are the next steps? What do you need to do in high school to set yourself up to get into a college that will prepare you to become a physician? And then what do you need to do if you're already in college? How do you prepare for the MCAT? And then we redirect them as well to Intermountain for getting entry-level jobs into healthcare. So it's a day filled inspiring the next generation that might not have seen themselves or anyone in their family that they can become doctors, and we believe in them and support them to do so.
How rare is this opportunity?
We do it once a year. The University of Utah does something as well once a year. They do it through the Latino Medical Student Association, but that one is only focused on undergrads. And we believe many people decide early on, often middle school, first year of high school, what they want to do for the rest of their life. It often starts there with that form of early exposure. And the bigger reason that it's done is I had the same opportunity growing up as a young kid in D.C., and I had access to Howard University Medical Center, a similar exposure to medicine experience, not only in D.C., but also in Pittsburgh. And I knew that that set the foundation that put me on the course, not only for my interest in science, but then I said, I want to be an MD, PhD, and eventually just an MD. But it occurs about once or twice a year. But there's other similar experiences where students that are in high school can have exposure to various specialties through something that the University of Utah has called Saturday Academies, where they will spend a morning going through much of some of the career aspects and daily activities of, say, pharmacy, nursing, and also medical school, dental school. And that's held on Saturday mornings, often for kids in high school and middle school. So, but this particular event's once a year, and we've been holding it with our great partner, Altaview Hospital. And we couldn't have done it without them. And we have actually already had the impact of doing this for so many years that some of the medical students and docs that now participate come back and tell me that, oh, this student remembers me from 2 years ago. You gave them such great advice and set them up with a mentor. They're now applying to medical school, or they just got in. And they often go back and say, I owe everything to this Medicine Immersion Day event with Dr. Ferguson.
Dr. Richard Ferguson is the president of the Black Physicians of Utah. In other health-related news, surgeons in the UK have reconstructed the jaw of a 7-year-old using his own ribs. William Tuckwell was born with a rare genetic condition in which his lower jaw didn't grow properly, causing his tongue to block his airway. His mom, Kate, says while it was tough to agree to the complex 7-hour surgery, it has been life-changing.
William couldn't go anywhere without this big emergency kit. Didn't you? We had to have a big emergency kit all the time. So it had to be with someone who was tracheostomy trained all the time. And even at school.
So we took a little bit of rib on each side to build his jaw joints, let it all settle, and then we can slowly pull it forwards 1 millimetre a day, where that bottom jaw is growing forwards, pulling his tongue forwards to clear the back of his throat.
That was a really, really hard thing to consent to because it feels so brutal. And it felt, oh, I hope we're doing the right thing. And then it's worked.
If I'm hungry.
What do you want to be when you grow up? An astronaut.
And now we can actually enjoy simple childhood experiences like swimming, school trips, and sleepovers with his friends.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The man accused of killing political influencer Charlie Kirk in Utah was in a Utah County courtroom this afternoon. The judge allowing Tyler Robinson to appear in normal clothes, not a prison jumpsuit.
Mr. Robinson shall be dressed as one who is presumed innocent.
The judge stressing the importance of Robinson being presumed innocent until guilty. KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas agrees.
But he's entitled to a defense. He's entitled to the presumption of innocence. And today, under American law, he is, by law, presumed innocent.
The time is 2 o'clock on Monday, October 27th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson will join me live with a full recap of that hearing. Also this hour,
it is believed that the contamination of what's called PCE, which is used as a dry cleaning solvent, came from the VA hospital.
A toxic plume underground on Salt Lake City's east side, prompting renewed concerns today. But first, our top stories. Utah is swinging for the major leagues. Salt Lake City leaders and local businesses broke ground today on a new West Side development that's expected to pave the way for Major League Baseball in Utah.
Today, the Larry H. Miller Company broke ground on what's expected to be the first of many projects here on the west side meant to prepare this area for a new MLB stadium. Larry H. Miller Real Estate President Brad Holmes says the first step in that process is to build a new headquarters for Rocky Mountain Power.
The Power District is set to expand downtown Salt Lake City. We're expanding it to the west.
However, construction of a new stadium itself is dependent on the MLB awarding an expansion franchise to Salt Lake City. Though Larry H. Miller Company CEO Steve Starks tells me that's why it's so important to start building around the stadium site now to show the league we're a big player.
They don't want to give it to a market that doesn't have financing lined up, doesn't have a site that's ready to go, doesn't have a proven ownership group, doesn't have the right market momentum that we have.
Along with the new Rocky Mountain Power headquarters, the company plans to clean up a good chunk of the Jordan River as well as build new housing, retail space, and much more around the site of the potential stadium. Reporting on the west side, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story from ABC News. Hurricane Melissa is churning in the Caribbean, and forecasters say it's on track to be the worst storm to ever hit Jamaica.
We're looking at 20 to 30 inches for parts of Jamaica. This will bring life-threatening flash flooding, catastrophic mud and landslides across the region, especially in those higher elevations, which could reach up to 40 inches locally in those highest amounts. Even Cuba could see up to 20 inches of rain.
That is ABC News meteorologist Melissa Griffin. She says the Category 5 storm is packing maximum sustained winds of 175 miles per hour. The Wasatch Wanderers Animal Rescue says a domestic duck had to be euthanized this weekend after someone found it near Spring Lake with a blow dart lodged in its head. They're pleading with people who have domestic ducks not to release them into the wild because they are too reliant on people for food and don't have wild instincts. Taking a look at your money at this moment. At the close, the Dow looks like up by 337 points, 0.75%, sitting at 47,544. S&P up by 83 points. The Nasdaq up nearly 2%, up 432 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Here's Ricky Meese.
We have had road restrictions for all semis. Approved traction devices required traveling eastbound I-80 through Parley's Canyon. Lanes are not affected, and they're hoping to have that lifted by 2:30. If you're in a tractor trailer trying to travel eastbound I-80 through Parley's, you'll need to be aware of that. Then eastbound I-80 prior to Bangor Highway, a small accident out of traffic on the right. UTA is road therapy. Give your car a break and get more U-time. Plan your trip at rideuta.com or on the Transit app. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today, the coolest and the wettest of the week. We have a 40% chance of showers, but that's disappearing by tomorrow. Today's high at 50, but up to 65 degrees by Sunday. 47 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, what are you waiting for? Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
The power of we believes in you. It advocates for you. It completes your circle. It makes sure you have the strongest circle possible. And with Intermountain Health in yours, you'll always have the care you need to live the healthiest life possible. That's the power of we. Intermountain Health.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-859-3220. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 to 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-859-3220. That's 800-859-3220 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. 800-859-3220.
Pacific Corp is hosting a virtual public open house meeting to discuss a proposed 45-mile transmission line in southern Utah Valley that will span from Spanish Fork to Eagle Mountain. The meeting will take place on November 10th from 6 to 7 p.m. on Zoom. The proposed transmission line will improve system reliability for customers, meeting increasing electrical demand in the region, and connect additional energy resources. Get details and learn more at pacificorp.com/Spanish Fork.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Tyler Robinson, the man accused of killing political activist Charlie Kirk, will be able to appear in court in regular clothing instead of his jail attire. That's just one of the rulings the judge made in his case today, just in the last hour, actually. Joining me now in the studio to break it all down is KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson. Heather?
Maria, earlier this month, the defense team for Tyler Robinson filed a motion requesting he be allowed to appear in court in his regular clothes rather than a jail uniform and restraints for all pretrial hearings. Now, this would already be in the case in a trial, but the defense wanted to extend it to all pretrial hearings as well since it's so highly publicized. Judge Tony Graff explained the arguments before delivering his ruling today.
He argues that the extensive media coverage of this case creates a real risk of prejudice if the public and potential jurors repeatedly see him in jail attire. The state, the sheriff's department, and the court security director opposed the request, arguing that jail clothing assists with safety and identification. The court has balanced these competing concerns. The case has attracted extraordinary public and media attention. Images of Mr. Robinson in jail clothing are likely to circulate widely and influence prospective jurors. Given the scale of that publicity, the risk of prejudice is significant.
And KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas went a little more in depth on why this is important on Inside Sources earlier this month.
How can you defend somebody that has confessed to a crime? And first of all, we don't know what he's done, what he's said, and what he's confessed to. We do know that he's charged with a crime, and from the probable cause statement that Jeff Gray, the Utah County attorney, read, they have a very compelling case, I would say, a very good case. But he's entitled to a defense. He's entitled to the presumption of innocence. And today, under American law, he is, by law, presumed innocent, notwithstanding anything he said. And so it behooves his attorneys, especially since it's a death penalty case, to at least let the evidence sort itself out. They may very well plead him guilty, or jury may find him guilty, or maybe maybe they'll work something out in this case. But until the defense gets all the evidence and makes sure that if there was a confession, that it was legal, if there was a search that was legal, if there was other things done that they were appropriate. I mean, I just so love the system we have in this country, but I also appreciate people who think, boy, we sure give a lot of deference to criminal defendants.
So Judge Graff granted the request today, meaning Robinson's defense team will be able to bring him fresh clothes before any future court appearances. But there was another request that was denied. Robinson's attorneys had asked he also have his restraints like handcuffs and leg shackles removed for court proceedings.
He argues that visible restraints would prejudice potential jurors, undermine his dignity, and interfere with his ability to communicate with counsel. Rule 3-14 sub 9C of the Utah Rules of Judicial Administration requires that all in-custody defendants be restrained unless otherwise ordered by the court. The court recognizes that Mr. Robinson has no criminal history and no record of misconduct while in custody. However, the charges he faces are extraordinarily serious, carrying potential penalties of life imprisonment or death. The safety of Mr. Robinson, the attorneys, court staff, and the public must remain the court's highest priority. The emotional nature of these proceedings also raise the risk of disruption. Given these factors, the defendant's request to appear without restraints is denied.
But Judge Graff asked that his restraints be as minimal and concealed as possible so it doesn't prejudice a potential jury. He also issued an order for the media to make sure Robinson isn't recorded or photographed in restraints going forward. Another issue on the docket was about whether Robinson should appear virtually from jail or in person for non-critical hearings. The judge said more discussion is needed before he makes a ruling on that case.
So, Heather, what's next in the case?
So they scheduled him next for January 16th at 1 p.m., and Robinson will be present for that hearing until a decision is made about the virtual hearings.
All right. Thanks, Heather. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson joining me in studio. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
Hi, this is Doug Ryden. For years, I've been telling you about products I truly believe in and that we use in our home. And one is Kinetico. We all know the downsides of hard water, tough on home appliances, frustrating spots on shower doors, but it also affects your personality. When you shower, does the water feel invigorating? Hard water can leave your skin feeling sticky and itchy. A Kinetico soft water system changes everything. It's like having a luxurious spa experience when you shower, making your daily routine routine something you look forward to. Kinetico, it's a difference you can feel. Their patented system uses far less salt than competitors, and they're exclusively focused on water softeners. They're the experts in their field, and they'll show you the difference for free with no obligation to buy. Call Kinetico Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent dealer, at 801-576-8600, or check them out online at softwaterutah.com. Start enjoying your water. Spoil yourself every day.
A toxic plume beneath East High School in Salt Lake City is prompting renewed concerns about risks and cleanup efforts. The VA Salt Lake City healthcare system held a meeting last week to update residents on the situation.
So the point of that is to try to get our arms around what we have here, what concentrations are, how big is it, and where is it going to go? Where is it moving towards?
Shannon Smith is a project manager for the Department of Veterans Affairs. The affected area is part of the 7th South, 16th East PCE Superfund site. It encompasses parts of the VA's medical complex down to near East High School.
Some contamination can get into a home if there's a crack in the foundation, or it can follow a utility corridor into the home, and we start to see concentrations in the indoor air.
Despite these concerns, Smith says there's no need for residents in the area to panic. For more on this, I spoke with Deseret News reporter Amy Joy O'Donoghue, who's been tracking this story for more than a decade.
Well, the Agency for Toxic Substances and the Disease Registry has been tracking the fumes. And at the time this was designated a Superfund site, years and years ago, they did not determine that the fumes had reached a level of danger inside the school itself. So East High is near, but not on the site itself, which spreads 300 acres. So we're talking about the area of 700 South and 1600 East. This is among 26 Superfund sites that Utah has, and since it was designated a Superfund site, they've been doing remediation. It is believed that the contamination of what's called PCE, which is used as a dry cleaning solvent, came from the VA hospital, which did its own dry cleaning between 1976 and 1984. PCE, again, is a dry cleaning solvent. And so there's been active remediation. And I think the most important thing for people to understand is that these Superfund sites don't go away overnight. It took them years to get there. And so there's going to be a lot of remediation, and it's going to require a lot of patience.
Have you seen that there is risk or any data showing that there is risk to the surrounding homes?
They tested surrounding homes at the time, and again, did not find, the groundwater is pretty shallow, but they did not find that vapors rose to the level of an extreme concern. The vapors are a volatile organic compound called VOX. It's a pollutant that is part of forms our PM 2.5 problem, and it comes from industrial use as well as is important in the formation of ozone during the summer. Sometimes its primary source can be the tailpipe.
Can you give us a better idea of this area that is undergoing remediation and what that remediation entails?
It spans 300 acres, and it's not at East High proper. It's in the surrounding area. They were talking about potential concerns at the Mount Olivet Cemetery. But what they'll slowly do, or hopefully more expeditiously do, is try to flush that plume out with fresh water and remove the contaminants so they don't pose any risk to residents who live nearby.
So when you say flush out, is it in the soil?
It's It's basically an underground lake.
So that's not used for culinary purposes.
No, it's not. It's just floating around out there, and they will take the necessary steps to remediate the Superfund site and flush that contaminant called PCE out of that water supply, which again is not used for culinary purposes. It's pretty shallow, but again, this Agency for Toxic Substances and the Disease Registry has not indicated that the fumes or the PCE, the fumes that come off that PCE is a danger to the high school itself or the immediate surrounding area. And I'm sure they've been doing routine testing. Again, Utah has 26 Superfund sites, and by comparison, and that sounds like a lot, but by comparison, New York has 86, New Jersey has 116, and even California, they have as many as 114 Superfund sites. And this just comes from back in the day when people didn't have the science and the technology to understand the contaminants that they were using and the danger they may pose, and they just kind of flushed them down the stream or flushed them into the ground to form this pool of contamination.
You mentioned the lengthy process that goes with these Superfund sites. Is there any sort of timeline for this particular remediation?
I'm not aware of a timeline. I think the timeline will be determined by when they get it cleaned up. And again, it's a long and lengthy process, and it can be frustrating for residents who know it's there. I mean, there's been a plume up near Hill Air Force Base forever. And when they tore down the Murray smokestacks at that smeltering site, I mean, it took them a long time to remove, harmful chemicals such as arsenic and lead to make that site safe to build on. There was a similar situation in Midvale, and now that is a, beautifully built out area with homes and businesses. But I would encourage, concerned residents to get in touch with the Utah Department of Environmental Quality, ask to talk to somebody who works with Superfund sites to try to get a definitive answer as to the timeline as to how close they are to getting this problem cleared up.
Amy Joy O'Donoghue is a reporter for the Deseret News. You can find a full list of Superfund cleanup sites around the country by going to EPA.gov. Additional information can be found from the state at deq.utah.gov. How can you make sure your kids are staying safe and smart online? We'll chat with an expert about internet safety for kids coming up after the break. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
Cleanup continues on a small accident eastbound I-80 approaching Bangerter Highway, out of traffic on the right. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
If you have Medicaid and are new to Medicare, you may qualify to enroll in a Humana Medicare Advantage dual-eligible special needs plan with a lot more benefits like dental, vision, and hearing, along with helpful support when you need it most. Now is the time to see if you qualify to enroll. It only takes a few minutes to find out if you're eligible. Our licensed sales agents are ready to help you understand your options. So this Medicare planning season, we can help you plan well. Learn more at humanaduals.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a dual-eligible special needs PPO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the state Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Makita knows that pros never settle, and neither do we. With Makita, you get tools that perform at the highest level on every job without compromise. Makita is for the most detailed pros, expertly engineered to deliver precision, job after job. When your work calls for the best, call on Makita. Makita, built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Charlie's battery is struggling to start. Not ideal before the tailgate, so he goes to AutoZone,
Welcome to AutoZone.
where a friendly AutoZoner tests his battery for free. Looks like he needs a new one, so he gets a Duralast battery.
Have fun and stay warm.
And he makes it to the tailgate early enough to get his favorite spot. Free battery testing and charging. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. We are streaming on the KSL News Radio app, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. Online gaming platform Roblox is taking steps to help improve online safety for children by creating a new parenting council to give parents a voice in shaping how kids interact online. Dr. Elizabeth Milovidov has been named the global head of parental advocacy for Roblox, and I asked her to first tell us more about the platform, which has more than 100 million daily active users.
Roblox is an immersive, creative platform, where there are it offers just millions of different ways to come together, where you can explore, create, share experiences. There are more than 100 million daily active users from around the world. And I think what's very cool is that you can go to a concert, you can participate in a fashion show. I was just showing a colleague how you can even fly a plane, or you can even enter into a new world. And so really our goal is for Roblox to be the safest and most civil place on the internet.
Describe for us the steps that you're taking to make sure that it is.
Yeah, I think that first and foremost is the idea that they have created this role, right? Because this is first in industry. And so this role to have a head of parental advocacy is really the idea to have someone who is the voice of parents and caregivers, to have someone be that bridge, because quite frankly, parents are a little concerned. They are, reading headlines. They're not always getting the full picture. And so the idea is to have someone who acts as a bridge between parents and Roblox internal stakeholders, to help with digital literacy, digital education, and really just to support parents, because we understand that it is challenging.
Describe for us how you will do that.
Yeah, so for me, the fact that I have been in this space already for 15 years as a digital parenting expert in Europe and in the United States, also as a lawyer and a law professor teaching child rights, I am just really always passionate about digital parenting and about child online safety. So the first thing I did was create a strategy, thinking about bringing a parent council, thinking about the resources that we are going to bring to parents, even looking at aligning with the parent-teacher associations around the world, just any place where parents are, to sort of meet them where they're at. And so by doing this, again, the whole idea is to demonstrate that parents are a core partner for Roblox.
Okay, describe some steps parents can take to make sure that their kids are safe online.
Yeah, so I think first and foremost, you just get in the game, right? Whether we're talking about playing Roblox or just being online in general, get in there and try to understand what's happening. I usually say that they can ACE it, and it's ACE for awareness, communication, and engagement, where awareness is that they're just educating themselves. They're trying to understand whether it's a game or social media. Communication is the idea of, who, what, where, when, and why, just that critical thinking. You are having conversations and, conversations where you're sharing with them because you're interested in their daily online lives. Conversations where you sit down with your child and you explain why you're putting parental controls on their devices, and that it's not to limit or restrict them, but it's to ensure that they can play and thrive safely online. And then I would say finally is that engagement piece, where parents realize that they need to stay engaged, that they can ask, how was your day today? And also ask, how was your online day today? Because one of the things that I've seen with more than 15 years of experience is that parents who are involved, who are engaged, they become that trusted adult. You become that person of first resort that your child will turn to if they encounter any risk on the platform, if they have any concerns, or if, quite frankly, they just want to share something fun with you.
Okay, and finally, where can people get more resources? Where can parents get more resources?
Yeah, at roblox.com /families. There are going to be more and new things upcoming in the next few weeks, but already they can find parent guides and videos on parental controls, and stay tuned.
Dr. Elizabeth Milovidov has spent years honing her expertise in advising parents and policymakers on how to keep children safer online. There is a growing trend here in Utah of teenagers being charged as adults, mainly when it comes to murders. In just the last month, 4 15 to 17-year-olds have been arrested and charged as adults with murder. 2 of those were in connection to the shooting death of other minors. KSL legal analyst and co-host of Inside Sources, Greg Skorda, says it's not an unusual way to handle the situation and that it's pretty common under Utah law.
It is a little bit unusual that we're charging 16 or 17-year-olds for murder, but under Utah law, when a 16 or 17-year-old commits an alleged murder, they can be charged as an adult. They don't start in the juvenile court. They file directly in the adult court. And that's part of our law that was developed several years ago in response to the gang problem. The fact that we're seeing 3 or 4 of those right now, I think we've got actually 4 homicides right now pending in Utah against 16 and 17-year-olds is unusual.
Skorda says he's more concerned with the rise in deadly crimes committed by younger people.
It does seem like more and more young people are committing violent crimes, and I don't know why. I don't know what the reason for that would be. It's really troubling, especially these homicides, because to have so many pending at the same time in Utah is very unusual. It's not something we've seen. Maybe it's something that's just coincidental right now, but it is a trend that I hope isn't going to continue.
He tells KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla that charging minors as adults hasn't always been the case.
Yeah, Utah went back several years ago. It's been about 30 or 40 years now, and looked at the gang issue and tried to decide what's the best way to handle these young offenders when they commit serious crimes and whether or not they should remain in juvenile court or go to the adult court. So we try to look at those on a case-by-case basis, but when it's a homicide, a murder, and the offender is 16 or 17, you can be almost assured that those will begin right out of the chute in adult court.
The teenagers I mentioned earlier are all being charged in Weber County for their alleged part in a series of shooting deaths. And again, an unusual amount, a growing trend here in Utah, of teenagers being charged as adults, mainly when it comes to murders. It's 2:30. Midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. Rainy days and Mondays not stopping the groundbreaking for a massive development on Salt Lake City's west side today. Hurricane Melissa slowly churning in the Caribbean, expected to leave major damage in the island country of Jamaica. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
It's a delay-free drive on all your valley freeways. Maria.
Looks like the rain showers are tapering off tomorrow. No chance of rain. Looks like next 6 days will be pretty dry. And the temperature is starting to get warmer by the end of the week, up to 65 for a high. It's 2:30.
ABC News, I'm Wayne Cabot. The U.S. has evacuated Guantanamo Bay Naval Base in Cuba, and Jamaica has evacuated its south coast as Category 5 Hurricane Melissa keeps growing. Maximum sustained wind, 175 miles an hour. ABC News meteorologist Melissa Griffin.
A major catastrophic hurricane as it makes landfall on Jamaica by tomorrow morning, and then it will weaken a bit, but then it makes another landfall in parts of Cuba, still as potentially a major hurricane. This is by Wednesday, Tuesday night into Wednesday.
Melissa on track to be the worst storm ever to hit Jamaica. In Paris, ABC's Aaron Katersky on the Louvre jewelry heist.
The robbery at the world's most famous museum has brought up uncomfortable questions around its security. Sources tell ABC News investigators believe the robbers had help from the inside, but are still working to develop evidence.
2 of the 4 suspects are still at large, and they still have not found the jewels. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. The man accused of killing Charlie Kirk will be able to wear regular clothes for his future court appearances, but he will still be restrained. The judge made those rulings today, saying that if Tyler Robinson were to wear jail clothes for pretrial hearings, it could influence potential jurors to see him as guilty while he's still presumed innocent. However, the judge argued that restraints should still be used to protect the safety of the court, given the serious nature of the accused crimes. Four minors are set to be charged as adults in 3 murder trials. KSL's legal analyst Greg Skorda says this isn't a new concept. It's the result of a law created a few decades ago to crack down on gang violence.
A lot of people really feel like we should have that hard line at 18, and if you're younger than 18, you should be in juvenile court, and if you're 18 or over, you should be in adult court, and that's because of just the way a person develops and their mind develops.
Those teenagers are all being charged in Weber County for their alleged part in a series of shooting deaths. 2 of them were in connection to deaths of other minors. More restaurants are closing across Utah, and it's not just the small local ones.
It hasn't been that long since Buca de Beppo closed nearly 20 locations and Sizzler declared bankruptcy. According to Gastronomic SLC, there have been at least 85 restaurant closures in Utah since the beginning of last year. Just in the last month, they're reporting 11 closures. Some of those restaurants are closing completely, while others are downsizing the number of locations they're operating. Many owners say with continued economic pressure, there are just not as many people dining out, dropping that from their budgets in favor of preparing meals for themselves. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
Salt Lake City and its corporate partners are now officially starting construction on the West Side's mixed-use development area, which they hope will one day house a Major League Baseball team. They are breaking ground today on the corporate campus for Rocky Mountain Power as part of the so-called Power District. They say this is a huge investment in the city's community on the West Side. Taking a look at your money at this moment at the close, the Dow up by 337 points to end at 47,544. S&P up by 83 points. The Nasdaq up by 432 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. And here's Ricky Meese.
We still have the final cleanup of a small accident eastbound I-80 prior to Bangerter Highway. Hasn't caused a problem because it is out of traffic on the shoulder. Valley Freeway seeing good speeds, including I-15 both directions between Ogden and Provo. The Good Feet store, supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today, the coolest and wettest of the week, a high of 50 today, 40% chance of showers, then dry for the rest of the week and climbing to a high of 65 by Sunday. 46 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Every time I turn around, my friends at Pure Talk give me one more reason to feel good about switching. This month, for instance, they're supporting Canines for Warriors, a terrific organization that trains rescue dogs and then pairs them up with combat veterans struggling with PTSD. The result? They're saving lives on both ends of the leash. This is why I switched to Pure Talk. I like being in business with an American wireless company who shares my values. Yeah, I appreciate unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $25 a month, and I bet you will too. But I think you'll really appreciate doing business with a company who gives back to the men and women who volunteered to defend our country. Just dial pound 250, say micro. With Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team, you can switch in as little as 10 minutes. Again, dial pound 250, say micro, to switch to an American wireless company who actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The rain didn't stop a crowd from gathering in the new Power District on Salt Lake City's west side today. A groundbreaking set to help pave the way towards a potential Major League Baseball team. KSL News Radio's Adam Small was there today. He joined me to share the latest updates.
Today, the Larry H. Miller Company and state leaders, city council members, so many different stakeholders in this project all gathered together, celebrated the groundbreaking of what is expected to be the new future site of a new Rocky Mountain Power corporate headquarters. This building is going to be 10 stories high, 300,000 square feet, so it's going to have office space because Rocky Mountain Power has a hand in, obviously, what's going to be known as the Power District here on the west side. So that's what we talked about today. But obviously, this is just the first step in what's expected to be a huge development out here on the west side.
Yeah, remind us of the project as a whole. Where is this and what's the ultimate goal of the redevelopment?
Well, this all centers around the potential of having Major League Baseball here in Salt Lake City. Now, at the end of the day, that's really going to be dependent on whether or not we get a team is up to the league itself in Major League Baseball. But this development is basically setting us up so we could host it here on the west side. But even if we don't, it's going to really transform this area near the Fair Park, just north of the airport. So right here along North Temple where I'm sitting in this area, we're expected to eventually see housing space, retail space. I believe there's also plans for a little bit of hotel space as well. We're talking about new retail options. Larry H. Miller Company told me that they plan to clean up a good chunk of the Jordan River to where that could be utilized. All of this to center around this new stadium so we can show the league we have done all of this in this area. We have a site for the stadium. And if we're awarded a team, this whole area is going to look different and is going to really be, centered around that stadium, but it sets us up for success in potentially getting a team.
You mentioned all the stakeholders there. What did the leaders say at the groundbreaking?
Well, it's Mayor Mendenhall, Salt Lake City Mayor Erin Mendenhall said something really interesting. She's like, I love groundbreakings, and I'm paraphrasing here, basically because it's celebrating possibility and potential and things like that. I mean, we talk about, we're all looking at renderings here at the site of what this new Rocky Mountain Power headquarters is going to look like, but we also are looking at renderings of what this area could look like. This is a very busy industrial-looking area right now, but it's the whole idea of transforming it into this place where Larry H. Miller Company says they want everyone to feel welcome and for families to be able to come and visit and also live in that housing space. It's reimagining the west side of Salt Lake City, which has needed, a lot of people feel needed tender love and care for a long time now. And Mayor Mendenhall's, it was all very celebratory comments and looking and envisioning what this area could look like. And obviously, Larry H. Miller Company is excited because they want to bring Major League Baseball here, and this is really the first step in that process. So it's really all excitement and looking forward to what could be.
Have you heard anything from those people who were really affected, who live in those West Side communities?
Well, it's been a while since we've talked about this because I actually looked in the last time I covered this story before today was about a year and a half ago. I remember we got some initial reaction from West Side communities then, so memory's a little hazy on that end. But one thing I can say is that members of the city council and state lawmakers that represent the West Side, they have gotten behind this. They've given their full support to this project. I think, again, going back to they see what the potential in this area could look like. I think they and others who live on the west side have wanted either some redevelopment or new opportunities or just, kind of giving this area a little more care. They've wanted this for a long time. State Representative Angela Romero and Senate Minority Leader Luz Escamilla, who both represent West Side communities in part of their areas, they've given this a ton of support. And we've really seen this collaboration between, Republican and Democratic state lawmakers, as well as, other businesses in this area. It'll be a big change for the area and the people that live here. I think from both sides of the aisle, at least on the political side, it's gotten a ton of support, including from those who represent this area.
You mentioned this is the first phase. What's next?
Well, again, all starting with this new Rocky Mountain Power headquarters. From there, the Larry H. Miller Company told me that we should start to see some new housing start to come up at some point next year. Then from there, they're also going to focus on that cleanup and restoration effort on the Jordan River. So they're starting to work with that. And then I think from there, they're just going to kind of continue to build around this area. But really, it all comes down to whether or not we get that MLB team. And if we do, the company is saying they want to be able to be shovel ready within a matter of months if that announcement were to come. But in the meantime, start with the headquarters, then start building multifamily housing, and then big focus on cleaning up the Jordan River as well. So things are in motion. This is going to be a years-long effort to do everything they want to do out here. And if that stadium comes, potentially could be longer, but really it's going to take a while, but hopefully things turn out in our favor for those who are anxious for Major League Baseball.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small there. You can find more information on the plans by visiting our website, kslnewsradio.com. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and there's a good chance you've heard me talking about our free furnace sale. The one where you buy a new air conditioner and we give you a new furnace for just the cost to install it, about $400. Well, we still have a few more spots on our schedule we need to fill, so I'm extending the sale, but I'm not quite sure for how much longer. Definitely no later than the end of October. And once I think our schedule's full enough, I got to pull these ads. So don't wait too long to call and schedule your free estimate. The main reason we do this sale is to give you an incentive to help us keep our guys busy when the weather's mild. And thanks to your help, we're able to keep our guys and keep growing. So if your furnace and air conditioner are ready to be replaced, you owe it to yourself to at least schedule a free estimate and get all the details about our free furnace sale. Just to recap, when you have Any Hour Services install a new air conditioner, we'll give you a new furnace for just the cost to install it. About $400. The furnace is free, you just pay the labor. If you think you might be interested, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
A terrifyingly eerie scene in Jamaica today as Hurricane Melissa makes its way towards the island country as a Category 5 storm. It's expected to make landfall tonight and into tomorrow before heading towards Cuba and the Bahamas. Across Jamaica, parts of the capital have been evacuated, all airports closed, and hundreds of shelters now opened. American tourists trapped on the island as the deadly storm barrels through the Caribbean Sea. With only about a month left in the traditional hurricane season, ABC's Ike Ajachi says Hurricane Melissa could be the worst storm on record to hit Jamaica.
This is a powerful and dangerously slow-moving system swirling in the heart of the Caribbean. And as of yesterday afternoon, Melissa has strengthened into a major Category 4 hurricane, packing sustained winds near about 140 miles per hour. That's according to the National Hurricane Center. This storm, it sits about 110 miles southeast of Kingston, Jamaica right now, and it's creeping westward at just about 5 miles per hour. That sluggish pace, it means trouble.
This is tremendous rainfall that is bound to cause widespread flooding right across the country.
Forecasters warn it can unleash torrential rainfall of up to 30 inches across Jamaica and southern Hispaniola, which includes Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Melissa, it's already left a trail of destruction in its wake. At least 4 people are confirmed dead, 3 in Haiti and 1 in the Dominican Republic. And that's after flash floods and landslides happened earlier this weekend.
You should be concerned, but the best way to address anxiety and any nervousness and concern is to be prepared.
The Prime Minister here, Andrew Holness, he's urging residents to take this threat seriously, warning that widespread power and communication outages are likely, along with flash floods and mudslides in the mountainous areas.
As for preparations, the government is moving very quickly to try and prepare. Between hundreds of shelters opening and thousands of people being evacuated, it's quite a bit chaotic there on the island.
There is nothing more we can do as a government but to beg and beseech persons to heed the warning.
More than 650 emergency shelters are open, and officials, they've already pre-positioned thousands of food packages across the island. And of course, the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston, the main airport, that's already closed ahead of the storm, with other transportation options expected to follow. We know that all of the seaports are already closed.
The island country of Jamaica is no stranger to hurricanes and tropical storms. You could say it's just part of island living. But with this storm set to break records, are people treating it differently? ABC's Ike Ajachi is on that island now and has been going around to different neighborhoods and towns to see how locals are preparing for the storm and how it differs from how they've prepared for previous storms.
I went around so many supermarkets, so many public areas over the past couple of days, really just talking to people to understand how they're taking this storm. And there was a term that I came across that a lot of people were telling me about called storm fatigue.
A lot of Jamaicans are now left to, worry about how their homes are going to be after the storm, how they're going to manage, with their families and so on. So we are indeed concerned about that.
If you remember last year, they had Hurricane Bethel, and that was a very strong storm. But a lot of the people I spoke to said they learned a lot of lessons from Hurricane Bethel last year. So if you go around Jamaica, you're seeing a lot of people boarding up their windows, sandbagging their doors and homes and businesses.
We're providing tarpaulins, we're providing hygiene kits, cleaning kits as, early items going into these more vulnerable communities.
You're also seeing a lot of Jamaicans helping out each other. The vulnerable population here is vast, but the people here say that the whole part about being Jamaican is helping one another out. So you really see a lot of people going to their neighbor, asking them if they need any kind of help. If they see a roof on their building with holes or any kind of issues, they're going to go over there with a saw and some wood to help them patch it up. So there is a little bit of storm fatigue, but they also realize that this isn't the same storm that they've seen last year during Hurricane Bethel. They know that this has the potential to be the strongest storm that's ever hit their precious island.
Yeah, they're perishable, but we know it would be a long week. So
although they may seem a little relaxed and lax about this, in the back of their heads, a lot of Jamaicans know that, hey, listen, I really need to take this seriously. This could be a storm that could really do a lot of damage.
Right now, Melissa sits just southwest of Jamaica. We'll continue to track the storm and bring you updates as we get them. Hunting season is beginning to wind down, but officials say poaching is still as unacceptable. It's at unacceptable levels. Their message coming up next. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
For those traveling the freeways, you are good to go. However, where we had an accident earlier at Highway 111 and New Bingham Highway in West Jordan, we now have crews out there working to repair and replace a traffic light that was dangling overhead from the pole. So they are blocking some lanes of traffic. You should still be able to get through the area. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers, all connected to advanced health care in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hi, this is Doug Wright, and when I think of the holiday season, I always think of the Western Nut Company. They have been part of our family celebration for as long as I can remember. And during this season, when I talk about the warmth of the holidays, the main store in downtown Salt Lake City on 4th South absolutely represents it. When you walk through the doors, just the spirit and the feel, the smells, and the warmth of the holiday season washes over you, and you are going to find all kinds of goodies that are perfect for this time of year. I got to tell you, this gives me a real kick. Their Nut of the Month subscription delivers a variety of nut gift boxes right to the door throughout the year. And also, don't miss their holiday preview sale. It's getting underway November 6th, 7th, and 8th at 4th South and 3rd West. You are going to love everything you find. And if you can't get into the store, go online at westernnut.com.
Salt Lake City International Airport keeps growing. On October 28th, 10 new gates and 6 concessions open. Delta adds a second Sky Club, and American Express unveils a Centurion Lounge. Come experience the new SLC.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at kslnewsradio.com/contests.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 in monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Halfway through hunting season, and officers are keeping a lookout for any poachers throughout the state.
Whether it's just a simple contact, just doing a license compliance check. Let's take a look at your rifle. Do you have a concealed carry permit?
I do. Lieutenant Mitt Briggs is one of the officers out making contact with hunters.
It happens often enough to keep us busy, and this time of the year we are extremely busy following up with cases, with tips from the public, whether it comes through our Tip 411 line or a Help Stop Poaching line, or even calls into our front office. So we follow up on those cases all the time, but specifically we're really busy in October and November when our hunting seasons are taking place.
He says poaching happens in a number of different ways.
They are taken illegally, and there's several different ways that the animals are taken illegally. Currently, some of the cases that we're investigating in the central region involve people shooting at night with a spotlight or the headlights of their vehicle, trespassing, using illegal weapons for the type of hunt that they're on. We're also looking at cases involving the wrong animal being shot, whether it was a doe with a buck permit, and also some people that hunted early, started before the hunting season actually officially started on Saturday the 18th.
Lieutenant Briggs says he and other wildlife officers think about poaching as stealing from everyone.
We call it, or use the term, stealing from the rest of the public. The animals are owned by the public, and when these animals are taken illegally, they're taking the opportunity away from the hunters who are trying to do it legally, or from the public who just like to go out and look at the wildlife that we have across the state.
He tells KSL-TV over 350 deer and elk were illegally killed last year, according to state statistics. This doesn't include bison, moose, bears, and even bald eagles.
People spend a lot of money to go enjoy the activities, go out in the outdoors. Sometimes it may be buying a new camper, it may be buying a new side-by-side or a four-wheeler. And then, just the whole experience of getting out and camping, the food, the gas, everything to get there. So, yeah, they're putting a lot of effort into going up on the mountain, trying to locate the animal they want to harvest, and then when somebody harvests it illegally, it kind of robs them of that opportunity. So, one of the violations that we're currently dealing with and trying to get a handle on is wasting wildlife. I know there was a Facebook post on our division website about some hunters who shot from the vehicle. They didn't have a license, and then they wasted the animal, only taking the head and the back straps. And we've defined in our guidebook what we require when an animal is harvested as far as the meat that needs to be taken. The front quarters above the knee, the hind quarters above the hock, and then along the back from the neck to the hips, that includes the back straps and the loins. And that's another violation that we investigate throughout the year is people who harvest these animals and then don't take the amount of meat that they need to, as required by our rules and regulations.
And there can be some significant fines.
With the animals, we have a restitution value that has been attached to the animals in the state. And the restitution value is what the state values the animals, and if that animal is taken illegally, those individuals can be charged to repay the state for that restitution value. The value's changed over the last couple years. A trophy deer, trophy elk, can run as much as $12,000. When you get into moose, bighorn sheep, mountain goats, that restitution value gets higher. We have restitution value for fish, for the different bird species that we hunt. And so it can get pretty expensive when these animals are taken illegally, and then the restitution value is added to their penalty.
Lieutenant Briggs says when poaching happens, it reflects poorly on the hunting community and steals wildlife from the rest of the population, whether they are hunting or just enjoying the sights. The United Way of Salt Lake in northern Utah now stepping in to help federal workers in Utah affected by the government shutdown. They're working to raise $1 million to support those folks by establishing a United Way 211 Emergency Relief Fund. Earlier on Midday, I spoke with Patrick McIntyre, the Chief Development and Communications Officer, to see if they're already seeing more Utahns ask for help.
We are. So United Ways in Utah operate 211. 211 is a 3-digit telephone number for Health and Human Service navigation. And typically on any given day, we'll see a little over 500 interactions from Utahns across the state. But since the first day of the shutdown onward, we've seen over 700. So we're looking at a 25% increase in people reaching out for help since the start of the shutdown.
So, Patrick, what kind of services seem to be in the highest demand right now?
Utilities, food, rental assistance, all the things you need to keep a household going that require cash. And so that's why we're calling on Utahns from across the state to help us out, not only by donating food to food banks, but coming to uw.org and contributing today. We're coming up on the end of the month. We're coming up on November 1st. People are going to have to buy food, pay for groceries, pay their rent and their mortgage. And now is the perfect time for folks to step up, join us, and do something to help out our federal contractors, civil servants, military families, as well as the lower income Utahns who are working every day and rely on federal work supports like SNAP or WIC and are at risk of no longer getting those benefits at the first of the month.
Patrick, what is the best way for people to donate?
Best way is to visit our website. It's really easy to remember. It's uw.org. And when you come to our website, you can choose to support United Way of Salt Lake in the greater Salt Lake region, or link over to United Way of Northern Utah to help out our sister organization based in Ogden.
And for those folks that may be listening and need a little extra help, how would they get that?
The best way is to call 211. Again, it's a 3-digit telephone number. You can also visit 211utah.org any time of day to get that assistance, and we're here to help.
Patrick McIntyre is the Chief Development and Communications Officer for United Way of Salt Lake and Northern Utah. Jeff Kaplan is here. Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News is next. Have a great afternoon.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon. It's 3 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Jeff Kaplan. Only 46 degrees in Salt Lake City. KSL's top story. Handcuffs, yes. Jail clothes, no. That's the judge's ruling. At a hearing today for the man accused of killing Charlie Kirk, KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson has the story.
The team has been worried that if he continued to appear in court in his jail attire, handcuffs, and shackles, that potential jurors would automatically see him as guilty instead of presume his innocence. So Judge Tony Graff approved their request for him to wear plain clothes for all pretrial hearings.
The case has attracted extraordinary public and media attention. Images of Mr. Robinson in jail clothing are likely to circulate widely and influence prospective jurors.
However, Judge Graff says the safety of the court is too important to remove his restraints for that reason as well. He ruled the restraints be concealed as possible, though, and that the media not record or photograph him with them. Next on the docket will be if he should appear in court in person or virtually from jail. They'll take up that issue for his next hearing on January 16th. Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
And joining us live now, KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas. So, Greg, handcuffs, yes. Jail clothes, no. Is that pretty standard?
It's not uncommon, Jeff. I mean, the sheriff's office has every reason, especially in a case like this, to be nervous for his safety and for others. So keeping him in some level of restraint, whether it's ankle cuffs or something like that, makes sense. But on the other hand, the defense attorneys want him to appear as any other person when they walk in and out of a courtroom, and they recognize that somebody who walks in with a jail jumpsuit, it obviously looks like they're in jail for a reason and that they may have committed a crime, even though at this point he's presumed innocent. So I think the judge made the right choice, made the right split between public safety and the rights of the accused.
With a high-profile case like this one, Greg, are they going to be able to find jurors who can actually be fair?
You know, it's not going to be tried anytime soon, Jeff. And so let's say that it's tried a year from now, which would be probably on par. By then, I think the community will have sort of moved on from this. A lot of people will have recognized that he's presumed innocent and be willing to hear the evidence based
outside of the jail. Multiple times in the past, those transfers have turned violent.